Okay, good morning. Welcome everyone to 2025 IORK New Zealand Championship. And the finals on here today. It's going to be awesome. And we'll hand you over to ANZ, because I'm 2NZ. We've also got in the commentary 1NZ, 2NZ, 3NZ, ANZ and BNZ.
Yeah, plenty of different voices you'll be hearing throughout the week, but good morning, good welcome. Ready to start off, we've got some heat races for this morning, just a few more races of the 70 kg and 85 kg categories, and then we kick into the 100 kg finals, which will be really exciting before we go into a lunch break. So a few more heats before we get into the semi-finals, and then it's going to be an exciting, action-packed afternoon.
Well, I tell you what, that 100 kg final is going to be the highlight this morning. But certainly, talking of highlights, we've got a great race coming up. It's the final heat for Group 1 of, 70 to 85 kg, pretty much.
Yeah, definitely. It's been a hotly contested category and a lot of competition in that category. And so when we get to the semi-finals and these groups of heats that they've not raced each other all weekend, right? So they're in the same category, in the same class, but they've not raced all weekend because of the way the groups are working in this. And so it'll be the first time in the semi-finals these guys get to compete with the other guys that they've been competing with for the whole championship without even knowing about it.
Well, of course, this is Group 1 Heat 6, so it's the final heat for these guys. So if they're wanting to make up a few points, this is the time to do it.
Yeah, and of course 64 points are up for grabs for the person who manages to win this race. So huge chunk of points, obviously 60 to the second place and 58 to the third. That's not taking into account penalty points, which last night we saw a few get dished out for a few different incidences.
And no doubt Mandela Pluck will be looking for a bit of redemption this time round, because he's had, I think, 3 wins in this competition so far. Mandela from Christchurch, he raced at the World Finals at São Paulo in Brazil, acquitted himself very well, and he's had 3 wins, but in that final heat I think he was 12th overall. Now we'll be looking to turn that around and head to points.
Yeah, totally. He had a bit of a rough end to yesterday, so hopefully he had a good night's sleep and rested up and got ready for today's racing, because started off romping after the start. We were basically saying, can anyone beat him? And then all of a sudden he was finishing well down in the order in the last 2 races. Obviously a bit going on in there, and so hopefully he can turn it around today and get back to his championship winning ways.
Yeah, 12th and the 6th were not ideal. But just looking at his major competition in this field, I think it's in one of the other heats actually. Is it Ryan Graham?
Yeah, definitely. There's a lot of different competitors. Obviously, as we said, with the way that the system's working, there's a few different groups that they can be competing in, and so you'll have Mandela versus Ryan and all of them mixed in later onwards. So it should be really action-packed later this afternoon.
Okay, it's time to go through the grids for race number 42 on the competition here at the IORK 2025 National Championships. In first grid 1 we have kart number 20, that is Oscar Grant. Grid 2 is kart number 11, Ed Schaefer. Grid 3 is kart number 14, Andre Camillo. Grid 4 is kart number 6, Phil Alsford. Grid 5 is kart number 9, Neil Kimura. Grid 6 we have kart number 5, Nicholas Warburton. Grid 7, one of the favourites, kart number 4, Mandela Pluck. Grid 8 is James Headley, and we're away in racing. James Hockley, sorry. Oh, it's all action into turns 1 and 2. And someone's got a good lead there. I think that was out of second place.
I'm seeing a lot of bumping and grinding between 4 and 5. They're having a little bit of an argy-bargy race into 1 and 2. Obviously it gets very, very tight in that midsection, so everyone comes in nice through wide, and then when they get into that tight section, they've got to all sort of go one by one, and there's a huge gaggle of pack that's just, everyone in that pack is getting slowed down. One thing we were talking about a lot last night was that getting stuck in the traffic was almost the slowest thing you could do in your race. It's just a way to end it, and obviously everyone going into the chicane, a good opportunity. Obviously they've got to go in one at a time, otherwise they can suffer a penalty. Everyone putting up their hands again, good opportunity to remind people that when they come into the pits, they've got to put their hand up. There's so many people coming into the pits.
Okay, first kart in pits is kart number 20.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of people coming into the pits at the same time. That was chaotic. There's people gesturing with their hands going, what the hell's going on? They're just getting stuck in pit lane.
Malcolm Hoovoice from Christchurch, he's done his pit stop. Also Jeremy Pluck, the cousin there of Mandela. And talking of Mandela, look who's out front. It is Mandela Pluck. Oh, getting it all sideways, coming out of turn 8. And he's pretty slippery out there. He's got that rear end rotating.
Yeah, definitely. The track's a bit greasy right now, so there's still some stuff going on. You can even see it on the live stream. There's people sliding and changing around throughout the race in its entirety. So, yeah, grid's really, really spread out right now. And yeah, a really wet sort of greasy track, but everyone's taking that early pit lane.
Oh, there goes one around out of turn 8. That's kart number 12.
Yeah, already spins going on. Everyone's getting used to the track. Obviously, it's a wet track, but it's also cold tyres. This is the first running of the day.
Okay, so out front at the moment it is Mandela Pluck. In second place is Lucas Petrie. And back further we have in third place is Gary Fitzgerald. James Hockley sitting there in fourth, ahead of Nicholas Warburton. Super smooth Nicholas Warburton. And then you've got JJ Bratt.
Yeah, strong competition coming through, and yeah, a really good field, so great to see them coming in. Obviously in the championship right now, Tui Smiler's the one leading off with 103 points, and Mandela Pluck in second with 280.
Talking of Mandela Pluck, he's got his cousin here in the pits, and it looks like he has to change karts. There's obviously an issue with his kart, Jeremy Pluck.
Oh no, that's a catastrophe for him. He's had so many issues yesterday, and now coming into this with another kart issue, this is the last thing he's going to be wanting.
Some days you wish you'd never got out of bed.
Yeah, totally. I think that he's still got a chance to redeem himself. Obviously, the marshals will do their best to get him back out there as quickly as possible and get him back into his position.
Okay, few more pit stops going through. Just looking for the race order on the screen. It's disappeared on me. Okay, out there we've got Mandela Pluck, still your race leader. He's leaving this one pretty late for his pit stops. He's in second, so he is in the pits right now, as I say. And that's a good pit stop from Mandela Pluck. We'll see where he comes out. But Lucas Petrie, the Nelsonian, is out in the front.
That was a great stop for Mandela. He came out with nice clear air. He's able to just now settle in, get some fast lap times up on that board. So great stop from Mandela Pluck there.
Well, Oscar Grant now into third place ahead of Phil Ellsford. Back there in fifth.
Yeah, strong showing from him today. Hopefully he'll be wondering what he can get through in this race this afternoon.
And here's our race leader, Lucas Petrie in the pits. Kart number 8.
Yeah, and you can see them trying to push that
There's
car.
Mandela. Who's going to come out first? Is it Mandela just ahead of Lucas Petrie? There's nothing between them. You've got two cars, but there's traffic. There's traffic. We're going to have to negotiate the traffic. This could be a game changer here.
Not just traffic, it's slow traffic. One of the cars in front of them is just moving so slow through the midsection. They'll be desperate to get ahead of him and get out in front of them as quickly as possible.
Well, Mandela's got a car between himself and Lucas Petrie, and he's starting to pull away now. Lucas Petrie stuck behind one of the back markers. Well, comes up the inside. Nice pass from Lucas Petrie.
Oh, it's such a great battle into turn 1. Oh, everyone's trying to do late dives. Oh man, it's all go this afternoon.
It certainly is. And Phil Ellsford, I think our Auckland man, he's up to third place.
I think Phil's from Wellington. He's part of that group with
Oh, I tell lies.
But yeah, Phil's been wickedly fast all weekend long, always up in that top 5. And so, oh, big spin coming into the pits. Big spin over there. Oh no, that's going to put him
way back. He's turned to custard.
Yeah.
Oh, Pluck was lucky to get around him for his second pit stop. That was crucial.
Yeah,
Mandela Pluck
almost blocked the pit lane there. So that was a horrible pit stop from kart 19.
And Mandela anxiously looking at the lights.
Oh, what a great battle coming out of turn 5. And coming into the midsection, we've got a really strong battle. 3 or 4 gaggle of cars trying to undercut and overcut, and now they've turned into a single lane file, so there's going to be winners and losers in that battle.
Ash, that situation with Mandela Pluck and the other driver, unsure whether he's coming into the pits or not, that would have given you the heebie-jeebies.
Yeah, that's the last thing you want to see, coming into a slow lane with someone blocking it and you're not sure if you can or can't. So Mandela took a bit of a gamble there, but it might have paid off for him.
Well,
a horrible session for kart 19.
Well, that little incident has advantaged Lucas Petrie because he now has hit the front. The Nelsonian is in front of this one, but of course, Mandela has done 2 pit stops. I think Lucas may have only done 1.
Yeah, and of course it's a really tight battle with this final heat. Every position is worth points. That's going to help them either decide to get grid position or a kart swap in the finals and semi-finals.
Okay, so that order at the moment: Lucas Petrie, Mandela Pluck, Oscar Grant back up to 3rd place now, ahead of Aaron Camilo, and then get back to Malcolm Hoogie.
Yeah, and of course the track master's doing a great job there of fixing the track limits and moving them back in to make sure the racing's nice and fair and fun. So it's a really close battle. You can see how close all these karts are. Everyone's on nose to tail with everyone. Shows how skillful everyone is, but how fast everyone's got this weekend.
And we've got Jeremy Pluck trying to make up a few places after having to change karts. So you pick up your race leader once again, and it is Lucas Petrie still ahead. And look at that gap, it is 0.2 of a second. Oh, this one's going to come down to the wire. How much time have we got left in this one?
Oh, not now, so checkered flag will be coming out almost any lap. These guys have got to push hard for this final position because it's worth so much in this race this afternoon.
Well, there's so much on the line this weekend here at Ace Karts.
Yeah, Ace Motorsport's being the host of this year's IORK. Previous years has been hosted down south, but this year being hosted by Ace is a good opportunity for them.
And looking at your leaders going through turns 1, it's nose to tail stuff. But it's Lucas Petrie, your race leader. Oh, there goes Mandela Pluck up there inside. That's the race lead. Mandela Pluck back in front.
Yeah, Mandela did a great job there of doing the switch back in it. That tight, twisty section is a great opportunity for skillful drivers to gain positions, and Mandela showing everyone how it's done. This is what a pro kart looks like.
And you got to say, there's probably no more experienced driver than Mandela Pluck. Raced at the World Finals in Sao Paulo, Brazil.
Yeah, there's a few drivers here that I'd love to see in this category, but it's great to see Mandela showing a really strong result.
So just having a look at the race order at the moment is Mandela Pluck, your race leader, ahead of Lucas Petrie. Then go back to Oscar Grant, and then we go Malcolm Hoogervoice, otherwise known as Hoogie, sits there in 4th place.
Yeah,
and then we go back to Andre Camello and Paul Cavell.
Yeah, strong comment for Paul Cavell. He's doing a fantastic job. His kids are here this weekend, and he's putting on a good showing for them because, yeah, that's a great result for him. And it looks like that's the end of the race.
The checkered flag has come out, and it is Mandela Pluck, your race winner. Then 2nd place was Lucas Petrie, the Nelsonian, a great drive from him. Then we go back to Oscar Grant, and Hoogie managed to get there in 4th place. Great driving from Hoogie. Back in 5th we had Aaron Camello, and behind him in 6th place was Paul Cavell. Then we go back to Gary Fitzgerald and Paul Ellsford. James Hockley and Neil Kumara round out the top 10. Well, it might be a good time to lubricate the tonsils now.
Yeah, and I've got a kind of a fun story from last night. I was talking to Adam Jenkins about during the race, he was noticing that one of the turns didn't have its tyres in the right place, so all the drivers were able to cut the corner. He signaled to one of the marshals out on the track, turn number 3. The marshal ran off to turn number 3 and fixed the tyres by the end of that lap. So Adam narking on everyone and sort of getting the track line fixed up.
Fastest lap time in that one was from Mandela Pluck, a 32.1, so it just shows you how greasy and how cold the track was in that one.
Yeah, next up we've got another 70 kg heat race. So we'll go through the championship of this one, how the points are sitting this morning. Tui Smiler on 304 points, followed by Mandela Pluck on 280. Phil Alsford on 280 as well, so tied up there. Good result for Phil Alsford, but Mandela Pluck probably just got the lead over him. Donald O'Reilly on 276, and then Charlie Keyworth on 276 as well. Mark Crook just but 2 points behind them with 274, and Hamish McKay and Harry Wilcox are on 272, so really close battle in the championship for these guys.
Okay, race number 43, 70 to 85 kgs. We'll just go through the grids now. On grid number 1 for this heat, it is kart number 6, Nay Bernard. On grid 2 is the Wellingtonian. In kart number 3, that's Harry Wilcox. In grid 3 is kart number 9, Tama Flynn. In grid 4, the Hamiltonian, originally out of Christchurch, kart number 11, Johnny Curtis. Talking of Christchurch, in grid 5, we have kart number 13. It is Jacob Fleming. Grid 6, one to watch here, kart number 14, Charlie Keyworth. In grid 7, another quick speedster, kart number 19, Milan Mugen. Grid number 8 is kart number 21, Curtis Smythe. Grid number 9 from Nelson, it is kart number 4, Quade Crowber. Grid number 10, kart number 8, Caleb LeCloud. Grid number 11 is kart number 5, it is Brett Hodgins. Grid number 12 is kart number 20, Donald O'Reilly. Grid number 13, kart number 10, Jordan McLaughlin. And backseat of the bus, grid number 14, it is kart number 18, Porter Ayres.
Yeah, good showing from the rest of these guys, and as I said, this is really important for the points for all of these drivers. Good opportunity, and a race win here will net you 64 points. That's going to help them in the championship. Mae Barnard, we've seen her on pole a couple of times. She tends to fall back after the start, but could she finally get a race win under her hands? Good position to do it, and Charlie Keyworth starting in 6 is going to be a good opportunity for him.
Charlie Keyworth could definitely be one to watch in this one. Very professional looking overalls too, isn't it?
Oh, that was a fantastic going into turn 1, so that was a great job from them.
And the lead has changed. That almost looks like Harry Wilcox has taken over the lead.
And that's a really close battle. There's 3 wide into turn 4 there. That was very, very close.
So Nay Bernard just drifting back a wee bit, but your race leader should be Harry Wilcox. I tell lies. It's still Nay Bernard, it says on the screen here. Only not Nay.
It's only until they get across the finish line.
Okay, that is Harry Wilcox, your race leader.
Yeah, obviously with our system here, it only updates once they cross the finish line, so we only get to know the race leader's official results once that finish line is crossed and the transponder sends that information.
Oh, look at that, the Hamiltonian, Johnny Curtis up to 2nd place now. Ahead of Nay Bernard in 3rd, and Jacob Fleming, the man from the deep south in Christchurch.
Wow, this is a really, really close race between them all. Lots of people diving into the pits early on, but perhaps not as much as in the previous session.
So the placings are all changing as we've got 1 or 2 pit stops coming. I think that's Nay Bernard in the pits. So your race leader, still Harry Wilcox from Johnny Curtis. Only 0.2 of a second. Go, Johnny. Sitting there in 2nd place. Jacob Fleming now up to 3rd. And is that Johnny Curtis coming into the pits?
Looks like that's kart 3 there, kart 3, so...
Oh,
yeah.
Telling lies again. Oh, Jonathan Camp's up to 3rd place. So good showing from the Christchurch drivers. Oh, I think that's the previous race on your screen. So it is Johnny Curtis now hit the front, the Hamiltonian, doing the business out front. 2nd place at the moment, Charlie Keyworth. I said he would be one to watch. Yeah. And Jacob Fleming.
Yeah, Charlie's a super fast peddler. Obviously entered into multiple categories this weekend. But yeah, doing a really strong showing in the 70 kg. Just wearing a weight vest for this race.
Well, talking to Charlie, he's just done his pit stop, so he's dropped back. And Jacob Fleming has taken over the lead from Johnny Curtis.
Yeah, Neve Ardard's doing quite well as well. Started on pole and she hasn't fallen that far back, so strong result from her.
Well, Johnny Curtis has also done his pit stop, so Jacob Fleming momentarily takes over the lead. And is that Jacob Fleming coming into the pits now? It sure is. So Jacob Fleming taking his pit stop. So Johnny Curtis will retain the lead.
Great.
So, of course, Johnny Curtis, a former 1NZ in this class.
Yeah, good job from Johnny Curtis. He's got a good opportunity to get some points on here, but Harry Wilcox and Charlie Keyworth are going to do everything they can to stop Johnny from getting the result that he's after.
Yeah, watch out for Harry Wilcox in there in third place. He's definitely no slug.
Yeah, definitely. He's a really fast pedal. We've seen strong results from him. Good opportunity to get a race win here.
So pick up your race leader is Johnny Curtis. He's looking to make up for lost points. Harry Wilcox sits there in
there's a
place.
great switchback coming out of 3 and into 4. They're having a fantastic little battle there between those two. They're nose to tail the whole way through.
Oh, was that Jacob Fleming involved in that?
Looks like it.
So we pick up your race leader once again, Johnny Curtis out front with a 4-second lead over Harry Wilcox, then back to Charlie Keyworth and Jacob Fleming. Nay Bernard not out of it either. She sits back there in 5th place ahead of Jordan McLaughlin.
And what we're starting to see is some really fast lap times are coming through. Obviously these tyres are starting to warm up with a couple of races now under their belt, so the carts are starting to come into the element and the times are starting to come down.
Okay, we'll get those lap times too after the race. But it is Johnny Curtis ahead of Harry Wilcox. Then go back to Charlie Keyworth and Jacob Fleming. Quade Crowler is now up to 5th place. A good job from a couple of Nelsonians there. Curtis Smythe and Jamie Flynn.
Yeah, and unfortunately Nate Barnard's fallen back a little bit, so not quite a strong result from pole, but I'm sure she can still hold some good positions to get some solid points.
Well, I'll tell you what, Charlie Keyworth's going to have to get a win.
Oh, wow! Someone just went straight through the chicane for the wets and just completely knocked the cone over. Didn't even attempt that one.
Yeah, Charlie Keyworth's going to have to get a wiggle on if he's going to catch Johnny Curtis, because Johnny Curtis is 2.8-second lead. And here we go. Talking of Charlie Keyworth, I think this is Charlie Keyworth in the pits for his second stop.
He thinks he's got some issue with his car. It seems to not have the performance he's looking for.
Oh, that's disastrous for Charlie.
Seems like everyone's almost on DeHart right now.
Yeah, we've got an orange light out there at the moment. So I think they're just re-honing the chicane.
Yeah, so Charlie probably came in thinking something was wrong with his car, not realising that it's DeHart and that's meant to be on purpose. So obviously when the yellows come out, if the drivers aren't paying attention, they'll think their cars are having issues, but actually it's just a safety feature. So DeHart can use it a bit more, and the team, Charlie not being so used to that.
Well, we pick up your race leader. It is Johnny Curtis from Charlie Keyworth. Harry Wilcox sitting in the 3rd position. Then go back to Jacob Fleming. Good drive from young Jacob. Curtis Smythe behind him. Then Tama Flynn. Donald O'Reilly. He hasn't featured up at the point here so far, but he is now. Brent Hodgins and Nay Bernard. And rounding out the top 10 at the moment is Caleb McLeod.
And Charlie Keyworth just came into the pits and did his pit stop, shaking his head, probably frustrated over the fact that he's been in the pits twice now, but because of the yellow.
Oh, some days nothing goes right.
Yeah, Charlie obviously just not familiar with the rules there and just making a bit of a mistake, but he's only got himself to blame there. All the other drivers knew what they were doing and stayed out on the track. Only Charlie came in.
Just looking at the order at the moment, still Johnny Curtis, and he's extended that lead. It's up to around about 6.7 seconds from Harry Wilcox and Jacob Fleming. Curtis Smythe sitting there in 4th place.
Yeah, what a fantastic battle going into turn 1. Those two are having one hell of a fight between kart 6 and kart 4.
Oh, they're going at it hammer and tongs. Okay, Johnny Curtis, it's his race to lose at the moment with a 7.2-second lead.
Yeah, and there's a fight between kart 13 and kart 19. They're going switchback back and forth. You can see them coming into turn 4 now, and oh, that's a very tight line.
Now looking back at 2nd place, Harry Wilcox. and he's only just ahead of Jacob Fleming. Jacob Fleming, an outstanding drive in this one so far, in third place. The man from the Garden City.
Yeah, and Harry Wilcox there was threatening for a race win, but looking like he's definitely going to be on the podium by the end of this race.
Okay, how long we got to go in this one? Anyone's guess. So Johnny Curtis can't be too far away from the checkered flag. And there is the checkered flag. Johnny Curtis, you little beauty. Give that man a Dr. Peppers. Takes the win ahead of Harry Wilcox. Curtis Smythe back there in third place. There, so the running order. Johnny Curtis in first place. A fastest lap of 30.81 for Johnny. Harry Wilcox in second. And Curtis Smythe back there in third place.
And interesting to note that Curtis Smythe had a faster lap time than Harry, so Curtis with some pace but not able to convert it into a better finishing position, so something must have got caught up in lap traffic there.
Well, fastest lap of the race went to Charlie Keyworth back in 8th place.
Yeah, he had a little bit of an issue there where obviously when the DeHart kicked in during the yellow flag, he came into the pits thinking that that there was something wrong with his car, but it was actually just because of the yellow flag, so that would have hurt him very much, because that basically meant he did an extra pit stop for no reason.
Well, it's a shame his race just turned to custard after such a great start. So those lap times coming down that track drying out all the time.
Yeah, the sun's come out now, and it looks like we don't have a high chance of rain in the next little bit, so track's going to dry out, and the times are going to come down.
Perhaps we could get a word with Johnny Curtis.
Yeah, great resigning from Johnny. It'd be great to...
Can we have Johnny Curtis to the commentary booth, please? Johnny, the man from Hamilton, of course, formerly of Christchurch. How did all that, was it the fastest of the fast competition? You won the second year of that fastest of the fast. How did that sort of competition down there in Christchurch bid you in for this type of competition up here?
Yeah, it really set it up for close racing, and obviously that's indoors and outdoors. I love being in the slippery conditions, so yeah, it's great.
And how'd you find the track out there this morning?
Oh, it was really fun. Slippery, but real fun.
So I imagine this result will fly you up further up the field for the final.
Yeah, first win for the weekend, so I'm happy.
Oh, you got the monkey off the old back?
I sure did, mate.
Oh, excellent stuff. Congratulations, Johnny Curtis.
And next up we've got the 85 category, so this is where we get Daniel Douglas back in. Now, Daniel Douglas is a name we were saying all night last night long because he was just consistently up there in the winning positions.
Well, it could be one of Auckland's big chances, Daniel Douglas.
Yeah, definitely, but let's run through the grid. So starting in 10th position, we've got Regan Powers in cart 18. Starting in position 9, we've got Isaac Jameson in cart 11. Nick Holt will be in position 8 with cart 4. And then in position 7, Rodrigo will be in cart 5. Adam Jenkins is your 6th place in the grid position in cart 20. He's got some redemption to make after some shocking results last night. Blake Skinner's in position 5 in cart 19. John Anderson in the second row of the grid in position 4 in cart 21. Jonathan Kant sharing the row with him in cart 10 with position 3, and your front grid is Prince Saragato in position 2, and your pole sitter is Daniel Douglas in cart 6. There's no way anyone's going to beat Daniel from pole position.
Oh, don't say that. Back further in the grid, we've got Tui Smiler. He's a real fly from the capital, and of course Mark Crook, another flyer, is starting off the back seat of the bus, grid number 14. And of course, for your ladies' long shot out there, have a look at grid number 3, Jonathan Camp. He could certainly throw a surprise or two. Had a heat race win yesterday.
Yeah, and you've also got, as you said, Tui. Starting from the back of the grid, that's going to be a hard challenge, but if anyone can do it, I believe Tui would be able to. And we've seen how good he is in these tricky conditions. When it's slippery, Tui seems to have a huge advantage on the rest of the grid.
Has to be that mini-stock speedway experience. Of course, raced at the New Zealand Youth Mini-Stock Champs around about 2017-18 did Tui. Still pretty young too, I think around about 19, 20 years of age.
Yeah, he's quite young, but definitely a very fast peddler, so don't doubt him and definitely don't rule him out of this race.
Well, we're away in racing, and car number 10 got a good start on the outside. Yeah, but your race leader, Daniel Douglas, will lead them as Jonathan Camp up to second place already. I said he was the ladies' long shot, and I wasn't joking.
Yeah, definitely, and a small little gap that's working out, but Daniel Douglas is increasing that every second and just moving away from Jonathan Camp. So Daniel Douglas, as I said, he's going to be a hard one to beat from pole position.
And he's coming to the pits. Is that a wise move there, Ash?
I would definitely not be doing that on the start of the race. That to me seems ill-advised. You had clean air, you were able to walk away, and then Dan Douglas just came in, but Adam Jenkins has also pulled in. He loves those early pit stops.
He certainly does, like to get them out of the way. Okay, we pick up your race leader once again. And now it is... who we got out there in front?
Jonathan Anderson, it looks like.
Is it John Anderson?
Yeah, followed by Dan Douglas. So, good opportunity here from Dan, even with his pit stop. Oh, wow!
I got one around at the chicane.
Oh, that's going to cause a yellow. There's a whole bunch of people.
Oh, there's another one as well.
Yeah, there we go. The yellow flag's out. The hearts are on. That's a big spin. They're going to take a while to fix that chicane. Obviously, DeHart comes on. Keep our marshals safe, because that's a really sketchy place to be for the marshals out on the track. Little protection from them, so we need to make sure that these drivers are slowing down.
Big question, was there contact there or not?
Yeah, it looked like there were two trying to go into the one chicane, and obviously two doesn't go into one. Drivers have been warned that they're not supposed to go two into the chicane if the chicane's out, so could be a penalty coming the way for someone there.
I'll tell you what, the leaderboard has really changed around now. Nick Holt, your race leader from Daniel Douglas, and in there in third place, Tui Smiler from grid 14.
Yeah, Grid's a bit mixed up there, but Tui was able to get a good position, but now as Tui's coming to the pit, so he's going to drop back down again. But that just shows you how up and down this whole race is going to be.
Well, Nick Holt, he's a bit of a surprise in this one.
Yeah, Nick's always had the speed, he's always been fast, so always had an opportunity, just never able to sort of break it through the air, so good opportunity for Nick to finally capitalise.
Well, he's going to have to watch his back, because Daniel Douglas, I think, who's done a pit stop, is only, 2 seconds behind him.
Half a second it looks like, so close gap between Dan and Nick.
We've got Rodrigo Sigwald back there in third place.
Yeah, definitely moving up through there. Looks like he hasn't done his pit stops. Hamish McKay, a name we've mentioned before, also a good opportunity. Tui Smiler and Adam Jenkins in 6th and 8th respectively, so good opportunity for them to move up through the grid. They did a good job considering they started so far back.
It looks like poor old Jonathan Camp from the Garden City. He's gone from hero to zero. He's back in 12th now.
Look, the race can change around so quickly. Once the pit stops are taken into account, I'm sure Jonathan can get back into the fight.
Yeah, Nick Holt, your race leader, ahead of Mahoney now into second place. Where did he come from?
I think we've talked about it a few times, but if you can get some clear air, it has a huge opportunity to change a race. You can just put in the pace, move through the speed, and yeah, it's how you win these races, is just getting to that clean air. So you kind of want a race where you don't know anyone else is there, when you think you're racing on your own. That's the one where you tend to win.
I'll tell you what, Nick Holt had a 10.7 second lead, but he's just done his pit stop, so he's dropped back to second or third. And there's your mate there, Adam Jenkins, moving through into third. Old school Adam.
Yeah, this is his category. He was up into second place at the beginning of yesterday. He dropped down to 4th, but you know, he definitely has an opportunity today to revive some points and get back into the fight.
I'll tell you what, that aerodynamic mullet haircut of his will certainly do the business. As you say, he looks a wee bit like Valtteri Bottas.
Yeah, he went for that Valtteri Bottas theme today. Someone was asking if he was going to do the calendar next.
Talking about Valtteri Bottas, he's in the pits right now. Adam Jenkins.
Yeah, old BB's doing his best to get the best result he can today and putting it through the middle. Hopefully a few other drivers trying hard. Tui Smiler up to 3rd. Great result from Tui Smiler.
Oh, Tui Smiler. He'll be bagging some good points here. So we look at your order. It is Mark Crock. I think he started way back in the back seat of the bus, grid 14. He's leading, but I'm not sure he's done as many pit stops.
Yeah, I'd say pit stops playing a factor into there. Look at Mark's, look at his times. He was doing...
Look at that, Tui Smiler's hit the front from grid 11, I think it was. Tui Smiler, your race leader.
Yeah, literally as we're talking about how the grid, how the
Oh, it's all changing left, right and centre. Blake Skinner now in second place ahead of Mark Crook and Adam Jenkins. His experience showing through up to fourth. And Jonathan Camp, he's rebounded up to fifth place.
yeah, and Tui's in for his next pit stop, so Tui's now done both his pit stops, so he just needs to finish the race, so we'll see who's in the lead now. Oh, it looks like it's Adam Jenkins.
Adam Jenkins, where did he come from?
Sixth place.
Well, we got Mark Crook there in second. He came from grid 14, and Jonathan Camp is third at the moment. And with just 2.5 minutes left to run on the clock, things are still likely to change.
Yeah, but look at Adam, he's giving him hard, he hit someone.
Oh, he's letting him through a bit of team orders, you might say, going on there.
Nah, that looks like a bit of a mistake from Adam. Gave a bump to kart 14, didn't give the position back, but did apologise, and yeah, see how that one comes out later onwards.
Okay, so the lead is very, very close indeed. You got 0 points. You might see it better on your screen. 0 points.
8. It's so close. There's less than a thousandth of a second gap between what looks like Adam and Matt.
0.088 of a second.
Oh, and Tui
is first and second.
Look at the battle between Tui and Adam. This race is coming down to between Tui and Adam because they are so close. Neck and neck. Adam knows how to defend on this track. Tui's fast, but Adam is going to be on one hell of a defensive strategy now.
I'll tell you what, this could be a grandstand finish for this one, but we've still got a minute and a half to go.
Jonathan Camp versus Adam Jenkins for the race win. Mark Crook in there, and Tui Smiler giving it everything he can.
Well, your race leader, Adam Jenkins, and then the man from the Garden City, sitting there in second place, is Jonathan Camp from Mark Crook.
Adam right now is actually to defend from 2 other people, so both of them are trying to find a weakness in his strategy. But Adam admitting he's done so many laps around this track, he's tried every single racing line. There is no way that they're going to be able to get an opportunity on him that he doesn't know about.
And the big question, what happened to Daniel Douglas? He's back there in fifth place, started off grid 1.
Yeah, starting from pole, we thought there was no way that Dan would lose, and now he's in fifth. That's a shocker of a race from him. But Adam's sitting a 28.7, with his Daniel Douglas is sitting around 29.8, so Adam's almost a second quicker than Daniel in this race.
Oh, you got to say Adam Jenkins. Certainly a very, very polished driver with a big motorsport family background.
Yeah, this is going to be a good opportunity, and it's the last lap now, so Adam's just got to complete one more lap. Comes into turn 1. Here we go.
Oh, yeah. What's happened to Adam Jenkins? They've gone over the finish line. And there's the result. Adam Jenkins managed to pull it off in second place. It was Jonathan Camp, the ladies' long shot. And back in third was Mark Crook. And then we go back to John Anderson in fourth. Nick Holt will be in fifth. Daniel Douglas slipped back to sixth place. Tui Smiler, he had a shocker. He was back in seventh. Then we go back to Hamish McKay in 8th place, Blake Skinner in 9th, Sean Robertson back there in 10th, then we go back to Rodrigo Sidwell in 11th place. And looking at those lap times, 28.7 for our race winner Adam Jenkins, a 28.84 for Jonathan, and third place was Mark Crook at 28.6.
Talk.
So was it Mark Crook that set the fastest lap in that race by the looks of it? Certainly of the podium finishes.
Yeah, but almost nothing in it. A thousandth of a hundredth of a second is no gap.
Well, that certainly was an exciting race. And the experience showing through from Adam Jenkins. Another good drive there from Jonathan Camp. He's had a first and a second last couple of races.
Would be good to get a chat with Jonathan because that was a great result from him. But yeah, fantastic for Adam, exactly what he needed in that moment.
Oh, Jonathan Camp can come to the commentary booth.
Have a yarn with him because yeah, fantastic result from him. That's you again.
But not this time round. But what a great drive, up to second place. You'd be rapt about that.
Oh, absolutely. That was a pretty tricky race in those conditions.
Oh, the cream rise to the top, Adam Jenkins. Have you raced Adam before?
Yes, I have. Oh, not previous to IORK, no, sorry. But in these heats I have, yeah.
Oh, excellent stuff. So how'd you find the track out there?
Still a little slippery in parts, but it's drying quick.
Okay, a bit of advice here. Where's your favourite passing manoeuvre on this track?
Got to be probably turn 1 or turn 3. It's pretty hard to pick between them.
So where do you think you'll line up for the final later this afternoon?
I'm just hoping for the semi and then get through the semi to the final. So I'm just keeping small goals at this point. Yeah.
Oh, excellent stuff. Give it up for Jonathan Camp.
Thanks, Sid. Thank you.
And of course, welcome back to the stream. Currently we're just a little bit of a delay between the races. Obviously we're just allocating the drivers, so just trying to get the grid spots or the car spec. So during IORK we have this interesting feature where the leader of the heat for the categories where they automatically go through to the finals, the person with the most championship points gets first pick, grid position or kart. Throughout the weekend we've seen a little bit of differences between the karts. We've seen some karts be really fast, we've seen some karts maybe not fast. It's a very small difference between them, but obviously any small advantage is a huge advantage in a competition like this where all the drivers are so closely matched. So all the drivers are trying to figure out what's more advantageous, being at the front of the grid or having a kart that you think is slightly better. Obviously it's both subjective and a little bit strategic. So there's a little bit of thought going on, obviously a lot of contemplation. Drivers would have been thinking about it all over last night. I remember having a talk with a few of them and them saying, not sure what to do. Almost all of them, it seems, are picking the kart specifically. However, I think if you're at the back of the grid, there's no, at that point you don't get to pick your kart because everyone else has already picked in front of you. So you might as well take the first spot, right? If you don't get to pick your kart, you might as well go for grid 1 because at least you'll be at the front. So there's a little bit of strategy going on, and it depends on where you are in the championship as to what you're going to go for. Definitely going to throw the cat among the pigeons with that one. So good strategy coming through here at IORK. Obviously a good opportunity to mention our sponsors, Racefacer Racing Software and Rental Karts New Zealand, the rental kart suppliers that are helping us run this event which is going on. But yeah, a really great event so far. If I can, I'll just ask Dan, if he's not too busy, for his thoughts of how today's going. Dan, how's the weekend been going for you so far?
It's been going great. Part-time commentating and racing has been absolutely fantastic. Meeting a whole bunch of new people, and that's what this is what I love about this event. It brings everyone from New Zealand around, and you get to make new friends, lasting relationships, and just better people to race to keep you on your toes throughout your karting stuff.
Dan, I think you're selling yourself a bit short because you're not just commentating and racing, you're also helping organise the events as well, getting the races ready and making sure the racers understand the rules and everything. You're doing a whole bunch of things, and it's people like you that are coming together to bring this event. We might not be doing the same job, we might all be doing different things, but we're all picking up things where we can to make this event as great as possible, and it's the hard work that's coming through that's showing that all these marshals are doing out there, even on the track, starting grid, office, throughout this whole thing, and this event doesn't work without everyone, without people like you, right, Dan?
Oh, definitely, and I'm just a small, tiny little cog in the huge matrix of what makes up IORK. I mean, your marshals here are doing an outstanding job. The pit crew, the garage is non-stop fixing karts that need to be fixed. Steve, the owner, absolutely amazing. You yourself, just jumping onto the mic out of nowhere and becoming one of the best commentators we've ever had for this event. It's absolutely incredible. The IORK team that have come up from Nelson to help run the event, everyone's just going over and above, and it wouldn't be an IORK without, you know, a little bit of teething issues here and there, and a lot of hard work from everyone. So
I think it's the great thing about the sport, right? You can look up and down the sport from Formula One to the lowest levels like this, and you'll see that everyone is, because there's that passion, there's that love of that sport. Everyone, it's not a job for us. This is, you know, everyone's been getting here bright and early. We got here at 7 o'clock this morning, even though the racing didn't start till 9. The gates didn't even open until 8. So there's a love and passion that goes into the sport that you may not find in other sports. You definitely find them in a lot of other sports, but I think there's something special about motorsport that drives us. It's just, is it mad or is it passionate?
I believe it's passionate, and it's not necessarily all motorsport, because when you go into professional and you start buying your own car, then, you know, you start segregating garages, and then you don't like that garage, you don't like this garage, and, you know, you can see that in Formula One, you can see that in V8 supercars, but at this rental car grassroots stage, there's no separating garages. You've got massive competitors next to you, and you're having a good time, you're talking, you're like, oh, how do you get through this corner, oh, I do this, you know, everyone is pushing everyone to be better, because you don't win a national title without being the best, and you can't be the best without racing the best.
Totally, and I mean, growing up in rallying, I would know so many times where a lot of the rally drivers would run in the same car, they'd have a mechanical issue, and they'd go over to their competitor and be like, I don't have a gearbox or something, and they'd be like, I've got a spare one in the van, chuck it in, because everyone just wants to keep everyone going, and I think that's the great thing about these lower levels, is that everyone wants everyone to compete. I don't think anyone here wants to gain an unfair advantage on the competitors. They want a fair advantage, they definitely want to beat them, but they want to beat them fair and square. They want the bragging rights, and they want that bragging rights to mean something at this level.
Oh, you did right, and it shows through the camaraderie of the different towns coming together, Tauranga, Christchurch, Dunedin, Auckland. You know, we're all intermingling out there in the pits, and, you know, just getting to know one another, and, you know, it's lovely. I can't beat it. I love this sport. I love this entry level stuff. I love IORK. I'm part of this forever. So I absolutely just can't say I love it enough.
Oh, me too. The weekend I've spent talking to Nick and stuff like that, you'll definitely be hearing me at the next event, because this community that's come together, and I think it's become even a step up now that we've introduced Auckland into it, and I can't wait to see more expand and build this community bigger, because it's a great experience. It's cheap and affordable to get into, but it's still fun, it's still exhilarating, and it's super open. I mean, anyone out there, right? Like, it doesn't matter whether you're a girl, a guy, it doesn't matter whether you're young, whether you're old. We've got entrants in here north of 60. We've got entrants in here who are as low as 8 or something like that.
12, yeah.
12, as low as 12, and we've got people that weigh 30 kgs. We've got people that weigh, well, some of our commentators north of 100. So
that's right.
It's open to everyone. It doesn't matter who you are. If you're listening to this live stream, you could be competing at IORK.
Oh, definitely, and that's what we've created it for. You turn up, you pay your entry fee, and then you let us run the race. You just turn up for your races, go out there, race as hard as you can, smile and wave, you know, put that helmet on, and, you know, when I put a helmet on myself, I'm in the zone. I don't think about anything else. It is my happy place. You know, as soon as that goes on, if I've had a bad day, come out here and race. That's it.
Yeah, it's so much lower stress, and it's obviously super safe. A lot of those high-end motorsports, they as much as the safety features are trying to keep you as best protected, there's still risk. At this level, it's really low risk. It's really friendly and open. As we said, kids as young as 8 can be doing it. So, as 12 can be doing it. So, it's a safe, fun, easy event. There's no stress leading up to the weekend other than I've just got to perform, which is the best kind of stress to have in this kind of event.
Yeah, that's dead right. We make it easy for you. Turn up, race, have some food, race again, and that's what we wanted to achieve. Is no stress environment, cheap to enter, because the one thing I want to do is see more people in motorsport, enjoying motorsport, and giving the thrill that I receive from it to everyone else. Open that door for everyone.
And speaking of thrills, it's still thrilling, right? You'd think at this such a low level that it's not, it doesn't feel fast, but you get in these things, 70 kilometers per hour, sounds fast, it feels insanely fast at that low level in those karts. You've been racing this weekend. What's it like around this track on the full speed of these karts? Does it feel slow and sluggish?
Oh, definitely not. I mean, you're an inch off the ground, so it's as close to Formula One feeling as possible. Like, you could still be doing 30 kilometers an hour, and you're watching the tyres on the track whiz by, and you feel like you're doing 100 miles an hour. Like, going down the back straight into turn 9, you're right on the edge of grip. You're right on the inside line on that ripple strip, and you're just like, holy moly, this is the best, like, knife edge experience. If I make any little mistake here, I could be pushed out wide with some traction, and it's just like, everything's just on the line. It's brilliant. Like, 70 kilometer hours In a car, not so very, very fast. In a go-kart around here at Ace Motorsport, feels like you're doing 100 mile an hour.
And 100 mile an hour with someone fighting you every step of the way, because we've seen some insanely close battles this weekend. We've seen switchbacks from some super fast drivers. You've been out there, have you been having your own little fights? I mean, you've been basically dominating your field, so you've been clearly mastering how to defend off and how to attack everyone. What's the secret to holding a line here, getting in the lead and keeping that lead?
Well, I wouldn't say I've been dominating. I'd say that my fellow competitor, I forgot his name, Mr. Groan from Wellington. Ryan Groan from Wellington. He has been outstanding. Him and I are now sitting equal on points. He's just ahead of me for whatever reason, probably because he's better looking. But the battles on track, like making a pass around the outside, around the high speed corner, is just amazing. I got past last night around that, and then through the infield I managed to give him a switchback. And with a bit of lap traffic help, I managed to get past. He had a way faster car, way better lines than me, but I still managed to make it past, and that was thrilling. And then the race before that, I had a massive battle with my ultimate rival, last year's 1NZ in the category, Andrew Barber. Him and I just go hammer and tong. We give each other just enough room to get through the corner, and we battle to the millimetre. And that's what I love. As soon as I know when Andrew's there, because he gives me a signature little touching the back of the card, and I know it's him. I don't have to look behind, and I just know I need to keep my elbows out and make my card as wide as I can. But also, if he gets a good run on me, like he always does, which is frustrating as the lead driver, give him the room and allow him to be there. Because if I don't do that, I know that I haven't raced to my best ability, and I'm cutting off another awesome competitor to potentially take the win. So that's how we race. We race tight and fast, but fair also.
And Ryan's probably a name that those who've been watching the stream's been hearing a lot this weekend, because Ryan's been performing fantastically, not just in your class, but in another class, because Ryan's entered into two. There's competitors across this field that are entered into multiple categories, and there's a few names where we keep hearing them over and over again, because not only are they fast in one category, they're fast in the other. Charlie Keyworth entered into multiple categories. His weight vest not holding him back that much. Ryan Gruan also entered in with a weight vest into another class, not holding him back. You've got competitors who are entered into different categories without weight vests and still doing well. Adam Dinkin, one of those as well. So lots of competitors into the multiple different classes. Shows that you can get a lot of opportunities in this event. You don't have to get restricted to one. If you're just a thrill seeker and you just want to run as many as you can, hey, if you're game to take on the guys with a lighter weight, you can do that in this series.
That's exactly right. So it is open for anyone. If you are lighter, you can throw it on a weight vest and jump into a higher category. Talking with Ryan this morning, he's doing two. He loves it. He said it's just busy enough that I'm always doing something. I'm either resting or racing. There's another competitor in the Wellington crew that are doing 3 events, and he's just non-stop, back-to-back races. And he's like, the words from Ryan is, I think I've made a mistake here from that competitor. But he's, nonetheless, if he gets into 3 finals, that's going to be 2.25 hours of racing back-to-back if that driver makes all 3 finals.
Which is an insane amount of racing. But you know what? We've got more racing up to come, because we're just minutes away from the next race coming through. Try and get that grid up for you any second now.
Yeah, so we've got the first semi-final race for the 85 to 99 kilo. We've just done the kart and grid draw that you were talking about earlier. The drivers are now heading into their karts. So off the front, we've got Craig Sullivan in kart 9. He chose pole position and then a random draw for his kart. So, and then we've got Volchek in kart 13 in second.
Wojciech. Finally got his name last night, so it was Wojciech.
Yeah, I still can't pronounce them. I'm butchering names for a very long time.
I messed it up so much last night that I was like, this one guy, I've got to get his name right tomorrow.
Yeah.
So yeah, Wojciech up there in second, which is a good result from him. Nice high position. I was talking about it earlier. What's the better strategy? So you say that Craig first to pick and chose the front of the grid?
Yes.
That's crazy. It shows he's not worried about kart advantages between the karts. He's confident I can win from the front as long as I can win, as long as I've got a good car.
That's right. And all going well off the start, he should be good. So following down into the grid now, in third position, we've got Stuart Hoper in kart 19, Josh Dowds in kart 5, Adam Court in kart 8, Shane Moore in kart 18, Reese Jordan in kart 11, Lloyd McLaughlin in kart 7, Kirk Volsper in kart 12, and coming in 10th spot is Joseph Mio in kart 21. He's been a phenomenal racer throughout this as well. I'm always seeing him racing.
Yeah, so you were there when they were picking their karts and they were picking their grid slots. What were drivers going more for, grid slot or kart?
It was actually quite a thing to watch. That once like 4 or 5 cars got picked at the start, then everyone was thinking hard. Do I go for the second grid, or do I go for a random kart, or pick my kart? A lot of them on the spot panicked and just went with whatever they decided on the spot, but it seems to have worked out. I think drivers to watch here, we've got Andrew Barber, my rival from every year that I've competed, sitting in 14th spot, but in kart 14, so double 14. Hopefully that's a good luck charm for my buddy Andrew.
And you've got a choice of yourself coming up very soon with your finals as to which you're going to go. I'm not going to get you to try and give away your competitive secrets because I don't want the rest of them listening to get an advantage. But, you know, what's something that you're thinking about? Are you considering the kart or are you considering the grid? What do you think is going to be more powerful this weekend? Obviously, don't have to go through what kart you're going to pick.
Yeah, so it does come down to what you're more comfortable with. It's my mindset throughout the weekend is don't take things too seriously. You know, get into the mindset once the green light goes. You know, nice and calm. When it comes to picking and decisions, it really determines what's been picked before you, what performs, how the track's looking, because different tracks. So if it rains now, not necessarily the fastest kart's going to get you the win. You want something a bit more you can control. One of the karts out there I know is a lot pointier at the front, so a lot slipperier in the rear, which can be helpful in these scenarios because it doesn't want to rotate as much. So you can, if it does get slick, so you've got to really be watching what's happening on track now. Watch this race, watch the race after, and just really dial that in. And then position, we had a guy, he picked 4th place, which is actually, he chose to go in 5th place instead of 4th, simply because 4th was on the inside of the track rather than the outside for turn 1.
And what I'm seeing is there's a lot of weaving going on leading out to these grids. You're familiar with these hard Sakamoto tyres and the mediums at the rear. What's going on? Why are they weaving?
Well, the Sakamoto tyre is a great tyre for rental cars because it's a really good endurance tyre. With such a long break between races, now the tyres are cooled off. The track has got full UV on it, so the limit, the grip level is a little bit less than when we've got cloud cover. So what they're trying to do is aggressively warm that tyre up because now they're gridding up. Because all the karts are in different orders, they're slowing down on the back straight now, and then our guy Tom is working out exactly who's in pole position and sending them round. So they're sitting down there, so the more aggressive weaving, the more you can warm up the tyre before the start of this race, the better off the line you're going to be. And another helpful hint is that some of these lighter guys that don't have a lot of weight, they do a lot of bouncing in the kart that I've noticed. Coming out of the pits or off the line, you see them vigorously vibrating the kart up and down, and that's to get a little bit more weight off the tyre so they can get a little bit more traction.
Because obviously these are a little bit heavier than your traditional pro kart with the cages on them, which obviously is there for a safety reason. But bringing in some more factors into this race, because as if we didn't have some enough complexities as it is, the heat's coming down. We started off this morning and it wasn't too hot, but now the sun is baking, and this commentary box is starting to get a little warm. What's going on?
Yeah, exactly. So we're not really sure. We haven't got the rain radar up at the moment, but there might be some rain on its way. Not necessarily right now. So that's the best thing about outdoor racing is you race in every condition. And if the heavens happen to open up, and we've got a little bit of cloud cover coming over now, it's getting a little bit cooler in this container we're in. So what's happening now? We've got the last competitors coming to the grid now, but the conditions are always changing, so you're always got to be on your toes as a driver. The other thing to watch when you're gridding up is make sure that you can see the green flag drop. A couple of times last night I thought I'd position myself good for turn 1. I couldn't see the flag. I had to lean halfway out the kart to see the flag drop to make sure that I left on time.
Of course, gaining that position early on is going to be incredibly important to taking charge of this race. And as we've got a great camera shot of turn 1 right now and the start of this grid, how are these drivers going to be trying to focus on getting, kart 9, Craig it is, right, he's going to need to focus on getting that perfect start. What can we see from him on grid slot 1?
Well, he's got prime view of turn 1. He's just going to straight line it as much as he can and try and just take that, stay on the inside. The thing you've got to do is just make sure you stay out of trouble. Don't get into battles too much on the first lap. Stay back, drop back.
And now we got five lights and it's green light, green light, green light, and these cars are going off. They're all jumping up and down, trying to get the movement on. And we've got Kart 19's already got past Kart 13, so that was an impressive start from him. Craig's trying to push himself off as quickly as he can, but it's such a close fight between these guys in this final semi-finals for them.
Yeah, there's good battles in the mid-pack here. Kart making up a lot of spots. I think it's Kart 15 potentially. Going around the back corner now onto the straight. Craig's got about a 2 kart length gap on position 2. Third closely behind. We've got Volchik in third. Oh, we've got someone coming into the pits already. So in this race, in this semi, we've got 3 in the pits. All very fast. Everyone red lighting on the pit entry. So way too fast for all 3. So we've got, in this 15-minute race, it's now doubled the length of time. They've got to do 3 pit stops, not just 2.
And of course, in this semi-finals, a lot of these races are racing each other for the first time because in the groups they've never faced each other. So they're all mixed in now, getting to see who's the best in their category for the first time.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So if you haven't met this person and you haven't raced them in their groups, then you're open to new strategies. So you've got to keep an open mind going into these semis and finals because you might not have raced all these guys. Now we've got kart number 11 into the pits coming to do his stop. He was in nice and slow with a green light. Still sitting out in first is Craig Sullivan. He hasn't come in for his pit yet. Kart 5 now in there. The drivers now trying to spread out.
So how many drivers in this one advanced through to the final?
So I believe it might be the top 6 for this advance into the final. Is that right? Yep. So top 6 from this will advance into the final and get the last 6 grid spots.
Okay, things are pretty tight at the front of the field at the moment. And it looks like Craig Sullivan, your race leader from David Court, and Phil Elsford. Andrew Barber sits there in 4th, so he won't want to drop further back down through the field. Kurt Vosper in 5th, and Michael Robertson sits there in 6th position. Okay, a few more pit stops happening. 1 or 2 of the leaders coming in.
Andrew Barber in car 14 coming in. I'll give him a nice wave because that's my buddy. I'm really hoping he does well in this semi. I hope he uses all his energy before our final. In 3rd place we've got David Court in kart 8. He's currently half a second behind the leader, Craig Sullivan. He's still leading this race now. Phil Elsford, sorry, our new race leader in kart 4, leading the pack. Craig Sullivan now a second behind, so he's lost the position on track, being a second down.
Looking for the fastest lap out there, Dan?
Yeah, I'd say so. So we've got a 28.4 so far for our fastest lap, which is Phil Elsford. He's in a couple of categories as well, so this is really good practice for him.
And Phil's actually hit the front, so Phil Elsford now leads this one from Craig Sullivan, then back to Michael Robinson, Kurt Vosper, Blake Skinner, Jason Moa, who had a win in the second yesterday. Shane Moore now takes up that 6th position. A couple more pit stops going on.
Yeah, and of course these drivers all mixed in for the first time this weekend, so yeah, Dan's got to leave last now because he's got to go get into ready for his next category because he's going to be racing straight up next. Got a final, so that's big and important for Dan, but good weekend from him, hopefully a good showing.
Phil Elsford, he's certainly shown his class this weekend. Out of Craig Sullivan, Kurt Vosper in 3rd, Michael Robinson. No, Michael Robinson's just come into the pits.
Yeah, and a fantastic lap time from Phil Elsford at 28.3, so a super fast lap time. Seems another fast lap, 28.8 by Michael Roberts, a 28.8 by Joseph Mayo as well, so low 28s coming through.
Now, Ash, if you were out there, would you be doing your 3 pit stops pretty early on in the competition, or would you stretch it out and just give yourself a rest?
I had a chat about this last night, so I think the best strategy is to focus on clear air. So if you're getting caught up to a pack, pit. If you're in clear air, do not pit. I think you've got to take this race by race and just have a look. You've also got to factor in, when you're pitting, who's behind you. If there's a big group behind you, don't pit because you're just going to pit into them. So you want to be making sure that you're pitting into free air. So you've almost got to do a little bit of a head check. Look behind you and see, is there a group about, let's say, 10, 20 seconds, probably halfway around the track behind me. If there's a big group, it's not a good time to pit. So I think you've really got to take it as you go and apply strategy as you're doing this. Obviously coming through now, Phil Elsford with a 28.4, with a 28.8 by Kurt Vosper as well, so strong lap time from them, 28.6 from Michael Roberts, so everyone's pushing really, really fast right now between the sessions, so this is the city finals. It's important because it's what's going to decide their overall grid position for the finals, and who makes it through the finals. There's a few people here, I think this might be their last race. In fact, there's a few people here that it will be their last race.
Okay, we pick up your race leader, still Phil Elsford from Kurt Vosper in second. He's got ahead of Craig Sullivan now in third, and David Court, Michael Robertson, Andrew Barber in sixth place. He's on the bubble, and Blake Skinner sitting back there in seventh position overall. Top six through to the final. It's do or die for some of these competitors.
Yeah, it certainly is. I mean, this is their one chance to get into the final, so everyone's vying for those top six spots. Andrew Barber is the cut-off at the moment, sitting in sixth. So Blake Skinner, he's going to pest all weekend for Andrew, so it looks like 2 laps down. So Blake's already done his pit stops by the looks of things, and with Andrew Barber still to do one.
Okay, just having a look for the fastest lap out there. I see Phil Elsford with a 28.3.
Yeah.
Quite a few other drivers in the 28s. But your race leader is Phil Elsford, ahead of Kurt Vosper and Craig Sullivan.
Andrew Barber now into pit lane, so it's, I think that's his second of three. No, that is his third of three. So we're approaching the 8-minute mark, which is our time for our heat races. So it's 15 minutes for this race, being a semi.
Could be a bit of desperation for Andrew Barber. He's sitting back there in 8th. Of course, he's from Tauranga, so it's a good chance to talk to 3NZ now.
Nothing desperation about Andrew Barber. He's a cool and collected racer. He's very methodical. Spoke to him before this race, and he said his strategy is just to go out there and pass everyone in front of him. So hopefully that strategy works for him, and we need to get him into those finals in a good position. There's a lot of traffic to overcome out there, and a lot of these guys know what is on the line. So I've seen pretty clean racing to date. It's not too bumpy, but as the laps count down, perhaps you might see a few more desperate lunges.
Kurt Vosper, our new race leader here in car number 12. Oh, he's actually just come into the pit, so he's going to lose that lead now. Craig Sullivan's still in the top 3, now our race leader in car number 9. So he started off pole position, and he seems to be holding that position, which is quite well. Phil Elsford is biggest pest with 3 seconds behind him, but Phil is fast in a kart, and he will catch him very shortly.
And Barber just got a great switchback in 2 and 3 and overtook a slower kart, but in the process opened himself up to the kart that was behind him. So he actually didn't gain a spot on the track, but he did get past another kart, which is kart 4, which him and kart number 3 have just absolutely gapped. So kart number 3, of course, is driven by Blake Skinner. So Blake's on the money as well, so a lot of these guys at the pointy end of the championship contention. So this semi-final is pretty important for them.
Looking down the back here, we've got Matt Curtis, followed by Josh Dowds. I'm going to hand the mic over now. I've got another duty to do, so enjoy, boys. So
It's been a fantastic race so far, obviously. Good opportunity here from Michael Roberts to win this semi-finals. That's going to put him in a great position for the finals. Obviously, a little bit mixed up. There's some names that we've seen that are very, very fast throughout the heats, and now it's multiple fast people. So there's people who we thought were going to be strong contenders in the semi-finals, not doing quite as well as we thought they were going to do, Lance.
The hard thing to keep track of is, have they done their pit stop? So some guys might have pitted early and got those out of the way, and that is naturally going to drop them down the order. For the likes of, we see Stuart Hopper, he's 2 laps down, and Matt Curtis, he is 1 lap down. So it's quite likely those guys have gotten early pit stops out of the way. And for these semi-finals, it's not just 2 pit stops, they have to complete 3 compulsory pit stops.
But you have more time in the session, right? We went from 8-minute heats to what, 15-minute heats now? Longer race. You got to be more strategic. You got to think through your things. It's tough, right? Racing a longer amount of time. Oh, we got a slow launch in from what was that, Andrew Barber. Slow launch out of the pit lane, not getting the performance quite that he was after. This semi-finals, it looks like we've
got a yellow.
Yellow flag out on the track, so all karts going on the DeHart right now. Slowing down, probably some drivers coming in thinking that they had issues, but it was actually just for the yellow flag. So drivers making that mistake twice now. In the previous session, we saw Charlie Kirk come into the pit thinking that his kart had an issue, but it was just the DeHart. Now it's happened again. What's going on here?
Well, with an incident on track, perhaps there's water down or the tyre barriers have been moved. The safety crew hit the slowdown button on the DeHart, so that every single kart has their top rev limit reduced. So this is to make the kart slower across the whole track, to make it safer for the marshals to come out on track. But it does feel like your kart has broken down.
And of course, it's a bit different to those higher end motorsports where you'd have a display or a screen in your kart that would say safety car or yellow or something like that, and you'd be able to look and know that it's not your kart. On here you have to look for the lights, but drivers not looking at the lights perhaps as much, a bit focused on their racing there.
Especially if you're coming down that back straight, there's only lights at the sort of 2/3 of the way down, so if you're already committed to your entry to turn 8, you are not going to see those lights change to yellow, so you're not going to be sure exactly what's going on, and we only have a flag point at the start finish line. So it is a bit tricky when you're in the hunt and you're watching that front of your go-kart. You're not going to see those yellow lights, possibly not see that yellow flag.
Of course, we're seeing some big gaps in this race. 9.3 seconds gap for Phil Alsford from Lloyd, and Kirk is nearly 12 seconds behind the lead. What's going on here? This is a massive gap. Is Lloyd just romping ahead, or has he not done any pits?
Yeah, that is a very good point. Kart number 7 is in the pits right now, so perhaps that does answer one of our questions. He is playing catch-up on the pit strategy.
But of course, he's also got some fast lap times, because Phil Alsford, 28.6, and a 28.7 for Kurt Moss. Those are some fast lap times, right?
It's early in the day, so there's not a lot of grip out there yet. The track's drying, but I would still say it's not hot. So those lap times are probably another half a second to come out of those. Most of those guys were very, very close to 20.0 yesterday.
Of course, we were seeing 27s yesterday, and now we're seeing 28s and 29s. The difference between the track is changing in seconds, and what, are these drivers just not pushing as hard as they were earlier?
Well, I'd say it's harder to get those front tyres to get the temperature up. They're running those hard compound sucker tyres, sucker moto tyres, I'm not making that up, and they do take quite a while to heat up and get that maximum grip. So if you don't have the ambient temperature or the track temperature to assist in that, you're probably half a race, you don't have as much turn in as you want.
And of course, we've got mediums on the rear and hards on the front, so you've got a different compound. That's going to change the balance of the car, right front end to rear end. We heard Dan Canelli talking about how in different conditions, some cars are more pointier. So how's that imbalance go in the race for you, Lance?
The rears always have to offer more grip, or else on a surface like this, you are just going to be drifting around everywhere, and while it may look cool, it's super slow. So you don't want to be losing that rev range to having the back end sliding around. The mediums will heat up a bit sooner, but again, that is going to create understeer as those fronts are still a bit cold. But I'd say as the race goes on, you can really hang on to those rears as they get to optimum temperature. You'll find guys just keeping it pinned, the whole track mostly flat to the floor.
And of course, Phil Alsford walking away with this race right now, doing 28.2 is as fast as that previous lap. Before this he was doing a 28, now he's doing 29. But getting chased hard by Kurt Foster, who just in the previous lap took a second out of Phil. So Kurt's chasing him down like crazy.
So kart 12, I wonder where he's at on track. It's a little bit hard to see from this tiny box, but maybe he's got some fresh air in front of him.
Wow, look at that. Phil Alsford, Kurt, Lloyd, Michael and Matt Curtis, your top 6, all did 28.7s roughly in the last lap.
Well, actually, Phil is right behind kart number 18. So where's 18 on that list for us? So these are down the order. So that's a lapped car that Phil's trying to get past. So he's doing a pretty good effort with those lap times. I'd say he'll deal to that kart coming down the back straight. Yep, and it looks like he's got the run around the outside.
And of course, lap traffic playing a huge factor in this weekend's racing. We're seeing lots of drivers talk about how lap traffic is stopping them. They're fast, but they just can't get through the lap traffic with so many competitors on the track. With the last lap to go, it's Phil Alsford's race to lose, you'd have to say.
Yeah, but on paper, he still has a 4-second gap there.
That's going to be hard to change in just a 30-second lap. 4 seconds
Yeah,
is a
definitely.
massive amount of time to lose. Obviously, with these heats, we're seeing bigger gaps in the fight.
There goes the checkered flag out for Phil Alsford in first position. Second to 12. Then I think Lloyd came in kart number 7. He came in the third position. So we'll have those results verified shortly as the rest of the field crosses the checkered flag. Give them all a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. That was a fantastic semi-final.
Yeah, and a great hand to Phil Alsford, who's been threatening to do that all weekend long. Phil Alsford always in the top 5, comes into the semi-finals, says, I can prove to you guys what I can do. I'll show you, I'll win the semi-finals, and I'm a dead ringer for the person who's going to win the finals in my category, because I'm the fastest driver out there. Congratulations to Phil Alsford, Kurt Vosper, and Lloyd McLaughlin, your top 3 for this semi-finals here at IORK 2025.
What's he excited about?
Yeah. And there we go, we can now run through the top 6 who's going to be able to come through to the next race. So Phil Alsford, Kurt Vosper, Lloyd McLaughlin, Michael Robson. So, yeah, Michael Robson, basically what? Screaming.
He's very, very happy with 4th place.
Matt Curtis also making his way through, and David Court. We will be losing Blake Skinner, Andrew Barber, Stuart Hopper, and Josh Downs. We were talking about Andrew Barber and how good he was, and he's been knocked out. Shock horror of the race.
Yeah, he's going to be pretty gutted about that. And he started from 14th on the grid, so he made his way up to 8th. But yeah, obviously just everyone is at such a high caliber and putting it all on for their first semi-final.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about this being a semi-amateur event and open to anyone to join, but obviously the people here who've travelled across the country, it's quite a commitment to travel across the country, clearly very committed to this, clearly very talented, and just wanting to take that step and show what they can do. So a very competitive field, especially in the semi-finals with the mixed-in group, showing off that they're very, very talented. And that means that drivers who traditionally have performed very, very well this year, everyone's taken a step up, and maybe last year's performances just aren't enough this year.
It's definitely getting tougher every year now. Being in the North Island, obviously it's a lot easier for more competitors to come to IORK, and that has mixed up a lot of different names as we would see in other years. The likes of Andrew Barber, who has been to Nelson quite a few times and always races in multiple categories. So he is in 2 weight classes for this IORK. So he is hopefully going to make it in the next one.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's got enough skill and talent, right, and certainly the ability to practice and progress further through, just because, and there's multiple factors, right? We saw how lap traffic and other things can factor into it. Racing series, you can see Lewis Hamilton can win 7 in a row and lose on the 8th. That doesn't make Lewis a bad driver. It's just the luck of the draw sometimes, and the way that racing goes in this sport.
It's not like they forget to drive.
No, the skill's still there. He's still capable of winning this heat, but factors can come into it, and that's what makes racing great. It is never the same result. We can have people that we think are going to win every single time. Like, we assume, considering how good Mandela Pluck is, that he's probably going to win his category. That doesn't mean he's a shoo-in for winning. It doesn't mean it's guaranteed. In this racing series, anything can happen. The weather could change midway through the race and completely change it up. It is Auckland. This championship's going to have a lot more weather effects at random times, so part of the added benefit of bringing it to Auckland. More chaos. All right, we're just going to take a quick little break here in commentary because the finals, as the next semi-finals for this category, just going to do the same thing, going to pick through their karts and their grids later onwards. I just wonder if it's better to have a mic on so we can hear what they're picking.
Sleep in your cars. He was like here, and then it always went. Yeah. In the what? Oh, tricycle truck. Just in the back. Oh, really? Yeah. It's classic.
I did a lot of traveling last year.
Yeah.
I've done heaps of racing.
You've been travelling for racing? Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Several times last year.
Oh yeah. Yeah, so we seen that that guy coming out around, and then all of a sudden one car came along. Oh, the new track will be cool once it's up and running out. And then we seen a couple of cars. All they need is the crash paper. They're coming from Italy, and everything's taking a long time. We see one car go around real high, and then the next car came in. It's like, what? And then another one did it. I was like, okay. Yeah, so that's delaying everything for next year. Yeah. So next year's starting to get close now. One of the days where it's yeah. As long as you didn't go from the middle out, right. Good. Pepin Pub is true. If having the daylight, it's cool. I like it. Oh wow. Every so much fun. I'd say I'll be here. If I get old mate over here with multiple sponsors. I think that's just where he puts all his spare GoPros.
I scraped the bank with just the one.
It's a scary situation because I have now for like 2 houses. I don't know how I'm not about this stuff. It's hard enough moving it away. Now I'm trying to do 2 houses.
Me and my partner, our houses together, and we both have two bedroom houses.
Oh, did you? Yeah. Oh, is that right? Is it just the two of you there?
Nah, but
yeah, okay. Oh, were they up there just then?
no, they're not here yet.
Yeah.
We want to get to make sure it's hot.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Oh, right. Oh, yeah. Yeah. How old are the kids?
You pay a lot of
Okay, very shortly we'll be into race number 26, the 70 to 84.9 kg semi-final A. Over 15 minutes, remember, 3 pit stops. It's going to be all action. The top 8 will go straight through to the final, so it's getting pretty cutthroat now. And we'll just go through the grids. Off grid 1 we have kart number 6, it is Stuart Robertson. Off grid 2 from Christchurch, kart number 9, Jeremy Pluck. Off grid 3 we have kart number 15, Tama Flynn. We'll just go through the top 6, we've got an interview coming. Off grid 4 we had Ed Schaefer in kart number 3. Off grid 5, Nel Kumara. Off grid 5, kart number 5. And grid 6 is kart number 14, Charlie Kiwer. Okay, we've got a wee bit of time. Grid 7 is kart number 17, Daniel Douglas. Grid 8 is kart number 20, Donald O'Reilly. Grid 9 is kart number 10, Hamish Mackay. Grid 10 is kart number 11, Rodrigo Sigwalt. And Tui Smiler back there in 11th, grid 11, Blake Skinner, grid 12, and Adam Jenkins, grid 13, Johnny Curtis, grid 14, Harry Wilkins back seat of the bus in grid number 16, and Quave Crowder just one step ahead of them.
And now we've got our previous semi-finalist winner, Phil Alsford. Congratulations on the semi-final win. How did that go?
Yeah, thanks, eh? It was pretty good, eh? Kart pick's very important in semis. They're so with positions, so yeah, I'm pretty happy with kart pick.
That was a fantastic result from you, and obviously getting mixed in with some drivers that you haven't raced before in your group into the semi-finals. Obviously watching into this next race to see who's going to be your biggest competition into the next race, right?
Yeah, totally. And I actually think this heat might be harder than the next one that we're going into. So I'm happy with my positioning on that.
And so, what was your strategy? Did you pick grid or car?
So kart all the way.
Which car did you go for?
Number 4.
Is number 4 strong?
Yeah, number 4's pretty strong. I think I was 3rd or 4th pick. Was that? Oh yeah, okay. Yeah.
Oh, secret squirrel stuff. But yeah, plenty of people wanting to know what's going on. So great race, and obviously getting you out there before the next race starts, because you want to keep an eye on those competitors. But congratulations, Phil Alsford. We'll see you in the finals.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you very much.
Okay, watch out for Jeremy Pluck off grid number 2, off the front row, 33 years of age from the Garden City. Now he will be one to watch, of course, cousin of Mandela Pluck, who's in the next semi-final.
And we're away racing now, and it's wow, what car is that one? Car 8's just walked off, set a good position. That seems to be Ed Schaefer. Ed Schaefer went from 3rd all the way up to 1st, and Ed Schaefer's just walked away with this one.
Well, I'll tell you what, Adam Jenkins got a fair bit of work to do further back in the field. Coming through, we've got some real flyers towards the tail of this one, so they've obviously picked quick go-karts for the good positions.
Yeah.
And here we go, Adam Jenkins coming into the pits.
Ed Schaefer with a strong lead from 3rd to 1st. Charlie Keworth up to 2nd, and Stuart Roberts in 3rd. That's a fantastic showing from them. 2 people in the pits. We see a Pluck and a Jenkins, both in the pits.
Jeremy Pluck got the better of the pit stop there with Adam Jenkins.
Obviously, both Jeremy Pluck and Adam Jenkins both have clear air now, so no one's behind them. All they have to do is work together, because both of them are really fast drivers, so if they can just both set fast lap times, they'll be able to catch up to the group in no time. That's a fantastic start for the Pluck and for Jenkins.
Well, talking of clear air, Ed Schaefer, his gap 2nd at this stage, but it looks like Charlie Keworth up to 2nd. Now, he could be the one to watch in this one.
Yeah, I'm really impressed with Ed Schaefer. From third to first, that was a strong result from him. Ed's not been one that we've been thinking about too much. And both Pluck and Jenkins are coming back into the pits twice now. So they're both doing this. They're both doing the second stop straight away. So they're going to get back into traffic, but they're going to be a lap down. But with both of their 2 pits done, there's got 3 to go.
Remember, they have to do one more pit stop, each of those 2 drivers, Adam Jenkins and Jeremy Pluck.
Yeah, definitely. This race is going up a little bit of a different strategy. Will they go for 3 in a row, or will they try to consolidate a bit of time now?
Oh, there's one of the favourites, Tui Smiler. He's just done his first pit stop. Got it out of the way.
Yeah, 3 pit stops to go. A few more coming into the pits now as well, so people are starting to get their pits done. Adam Jenkins going 3 in a row. Just put his hand up. He's going 3 pit stops in a row. Looks like Pluck has decided to carry on. Too many people in the pit, so Pluck's carrying on. Jenkins going for 3 in a row.
Oh, that could be a mistake. He's going to get held up here slightly. No, he's not.
Yeah, Adam's pretty good at timing those pit stops, ensuring that he's not staying too long, so tends to slow down in the pit lane, play a little bit safer, and just arrive as the pit box starts.
So it is that man out front, Charlie Keyworth. He's going to be a hard man to pick back in second place. It's only 2.8 seconds behind is Stuart Robertson. In third is Tama Flynn. And behind him you had Hamish Mackay. Sits there in fourth, ahead of Rodrigo Sigwalt. And behind him is
Johnny Curtis, but remember, it's only the top 6 that's actually going to finish this race, so it doesn't matter how many points you've had previously. Yeah, it's only top 6 that goes through this, so you could have been Mandela Pluck winning every race, and it doesn't matter because you could lose out now if you don't finish in the top 6.
There goes Charlie Keyworth. He's just done a pit stop. Definitely one of the favourites. He drops down to 4th place now, but I'm sure he can make a lot of that time up. Remember, you have to finish in the top 8 to advance through to the final. So Tama Flynn now up in second place ahead of Rodrigo Sigwalt and Charlie Keyworth. Johnny Curtis there in 5th, so he'll be happy with that if he can consolidate that position.
And you know, a name we're starting to see pop back up. Tui Smiler up into 9th. Tui Smiler, one of our favourites coming throughout this race. Probably a good chance of him getting a strong position, but Tui Smiler now up to 6th. He needs to hold that. Charlie Keyworth in 3rd. Johnny Curtis in 2nd. And Dan Douglas, a favourite of this, down in 10th for Dan Douglas.
Well, Dan Douglas is definitely going to have to get a wiggle on if he's going to make that top 8. He could get knocked out here. He would be disgusted if that happens.
Yeah, of course, really strong performances from a lot of these drivers, but if they don't get into that top 8, it doesn't matter. They get knocked out, even if they were favourites in the heat.
Well, we saw Johnny Curtis take a heat win earlier in the day. He's up to 2nd place now, right behind Stuart Robertson.
And I tell you what, Mandela Pluck and Adam Jenkins, very, very close to each other, fighting each other for the same patch of track.
Charlie Keyworth sits there in 3rd place, about to pounce. And then back to Harry Wilcox. We've seen the cream rising to the top once again. Tui Smiler back there in 5th.
Yeah, and of course we're seeing a lot of big names in this, and just like Phil Alsworth was saying, this semi-finals, we're going to see some big names drop out of this session.
Well, Charlie Keyworth, he's just done his 2nd stop, and he drops down to 6th position, and that's all he needs to do to qualify for the final.
Yeah, so good opportunity here for Charlie to sort of guarantee a slot, seeing some 28s come through and some 29s, but competitors are pushing really hard for the semi-finals. Definitely think we're going to see a big name get knocked out.
Don't forget, of course, the merchandise tent. Selling all sorts of lovely IORK merchandise, hats, hoodies, t-shirts. So we pick up your race leader now. It is Stuart Robertson. Where did he come from? Tui Smiler sitting there in 2nd. The Wellingtonian 10 seconds behind, so I think Stuart Robinson will have one more pit stop.
Alright, and we'll just need a few more people to come to the briefing room. So if you're out there in the audience, Mandela Pluck, Mark Crooks, Phil Alsford, Curtis Smythe, Lucas, Jonathan Camp, Brett Hodgins, Oscar Grant, Nicholas Warburton, JJ Brett, Paul Cavill, John Anderson, and James Ockley. Can you all make your way to the briefing room to go see Nick? We'll get back to your racing action now.
And guess who's hit the front? Yes, it's Tui Smiler from the Wellingtonian, cleaning up here at the moment in semi-final number 1 for the 70 to 85 kg.
Yeah, Tui Smiler doing a fantastic job there. Harry Wilcox getting his way up there, and Charlie Keyworth, all people to note of really strong performances. Dan Douglas still down in 9th position, not able to make his way through, and we haven't seen Pluck or Jenkins make their way through yet. So those early pit stops, that strategy of doing all 3 in one go, hurting them a little bit.
I'll tell you what, it's getting tight for the bubble here for 8th and 9th. Johnny Curtis sitting on the bubble at the moment, and Daniel Douglas is outside looking hurt.
Charlie Keyworth just coming in for his pit stop. So that will push Charlie down further into the grid, but again, it's all fair. Everyone has to stop, and Tui is just coming now. So Tui Smiler also into the pits as well. So Tui Smiler in the pits now. That's going to bring him down from the grid. We might see a position change for the pole.
Well, he had a 9.4 second lead. Will that be enough for Tui to come out in front? No, it won't. Stuart Robertson takes over the lead once again from Tui Smiler, still there in second. Harry Wilcox sitting there in third. Then back to Nelsonian. Wade Crowder. Tamal Flynn in 5th position. Johnny Curtis is up to 6th. So he'll be feeling slightly more comfortable ahead of Charlie Keyworth and Donald O'Reilly.
As Harry Wilcox goes past the start finish, we've now got Tui Smiler in the pits. Interesting change of race gear today. He's ditched the Suns Out, Guns Out attire, gone a full sleeve. So I wonder if that's paying the air drag.
Yeah, I believe that's Tui's 3rd pit stop. So he's completed his pit stops, I believe, and he sits there in a comfortable 4th position. So all he has to do is stay there, really, if he wants to make the final, but he'll be looking to advance a wee bit further up to get a better grid position.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great strategy. He's midpoint in the race. He's got his pit stops all completed. So every time somebody else pits, he's essentially gaining track position.
Well, talking of track position, Harry Wilcox has now taken over the lead, and it's a good lead too of 12.3 seconds back to Stuart Robinson.
Now, speaking of the devil, now Harry is in the pits. So with that 12 seconds, that's about how long it takes to come in and out of the pits. He hasn't lost track position as car number 5 is the back marker.
Well, we've got the Hamiltonian Johnny Curtis now up to 2nd place. Tui Smiler sits there in 3rd. And of course Stuart Robinson, just with that pit stop, falls back to 4th. But your race leader now is Harry Wilcox. Charlie Keyworth back there in 5th. He was probably favourite in this particular race. Not really making great advances at this stage.
Yeah, it's not blatantly obvious to us here as we don't have a pit stop counter available to us for the data. So a little bit trying to do it off the cuff, but perhaps he has got an advantage in the pit stops completion, and he'll jump up that order cart by cart. As we see Adam Jenkins in that retro race suit come across the line, and he is currently, wow, outside the 10, yeah.
Well, if you have a look at the bubble at this stage, running in 8th place at the moment. Top 8 go through, remember. It is Hamish Mackay, and just sitting outside looking in is Quade Crowther from Nelson.
Just a quick call to the crowd driver, Oscar Grant. Oscar Grant to the briefing room, please. Nick and Dan want to talk to you. Oscar Grant.
Can we have Oscar Grant to the dummy grid, please?
Yep.
Okay, back to the race, and it is Harry Wilcox, and we've got Tui Smiler, who's completed all his pit stops, just 3.3 seconds behind Harry Wilcox. He could be a sitting duck there, friends, Ed.
We've got a lot of side-by-side racing into 1, 2, and 3. We see Adam Jenkins, Tui Smiler, Harry Wilcox. So a lot of these guys are out of position, and we're going to... Ooh, there's a little bit of a squirrel coming out of the turn number 9 and cart number 9.
which is Jeremy Pluck by the looks of it. And he's right back in the field, right back in 15th, 16th position. His chances could have evaporated. So pick up your race leader once again. It is Harry Wilcox from Tui Smiler. There can't be too much left. Just over 3.5 minutes to go.
Has it gone yellow? Why have we gone yellow? Somebody probably touched a tyre and put a tiny amount of water on the track.
Oh, there's a good passing manoeuvre from Adam Jenkins up the inside, and he advances up to 10th place. So he's not far from that bubble, so there may still be a chance for Adam Jenkins.
That is quite good. Stuart Robson was doing a fantastic job of holding Adam at bay though. It took many laps for Jenkins to get past him, as we hear a big squeal from the quartet of karts coming out of 9 and into 1.
Well, look at that. There's the favourite in this one, Tui Smiler, has hit front. The Wellingtonian showing everyone how it's done here at Go Media Stadium.
These are pretty small margins for these front three. We're talking less than a second separating first, second and third. So it's Tui, Harry and Johnny. Usual suspects looking at that podium result with just under 2.5 minutes remaining to race.
Well, big advances for top Auckland driver Daniel Douglas, now up to 5th place ahead of Charlie Keyworth. But I suppose the big surprise in there is Donald O'Reilly sitting in 4th. Okay, Tui Smiler just pulling away slightly.
Oh, a bit of payback there. So car 5 got the raw end of the deal coming through 9 in the quartet. 5 and 12, bit of fisticuffs out on track.
Okay, 5 and 12, just looking through the order.
They're well down the order. 12 is for position, that's Harry. And so he was getting held up by cart number 5. 10. Oh, we can't see a damn thing.
Okay, we pick up your race leader, it's still Tui Smiler, and we've got 1 minute 10 to go in this one. So not a lot of time for anyone to catch Tui Smiler. He's going to be a dead cert to make the final. Harry Wilcox still there in 2nd place from Johnny Curtis. And further back we have Donald O'Reilly, Charlie Keyworth, Daniel Douglas, top Auckland driver, in 6th position at the moment, ahead of Hamish Mackay and Quade Crowther, the Nelsonian. Looks like he may qualify for the final.
And Hamish Mackay showing a bit of personality as he passed Quade on the inside and gave him a little bit of a wave, actually a wave, and quite jokingly there. So bit of personality coming out on the track with a 35 seconds remaining.
Okay, talking of waves, it looks like we've got 1 lap to go in this one, so Tui Smiler is his race to lose, but he's got a horrendous lead of 0.1 seconds at the moment, so there's nothing in it between him and Harry Wilcox. But over the line, it's going to be Tui Smiler's done it. He's won the first of the semi-finals for the 70 to 85 kg. Very close finish there. Harry Wilcox right on his tail. Johnny Curtis will be absolutely wrapped with 3rd, the Hamiltonian. Then we go back to Donald O'Reilly in 4th. Charlie Keyworth, he cruised through to the final in 5th, ahead of Daniel Burgess, the Auckland driver. Then we go back to Hamish Mackay. Craig Crowther is the lucky last, the Nelsonian, just making it through to the final. And you've got to say unlucky Rodrigo Sigwalt, also another one of the favourites there. Missing out was Adam Jenkins in 10th. 11th was Stuart Robinson. Ed Schaefer back in 12th, ahead of Blake Skinner in 13th. 14th was Tama Flynn. Then we go back to Neil Kumara and Jeremy Pluck at the tail of the field.
right, there'll be some very disappointed people there. Everyone's got a different style, and it's really cool.
I don't get too bogged down. The Auckland guy is good, but yeah.
It's more like Speedway, we would go left and up, you end up seeing these guys up, it's a fresh. But I'm talking to like Tomato, FA Cup, they're full-time commentators.
Yeah.
See who and
King of the Western Springs.
he's he's like, there's no game this season through. So I'm like, eventually, in 10 years' time, we're going to start running out of guys who are willing to commentate. Yeah, it's cool as that.
Yeah, it was sort of like half red, half green.
I've got a hold of the tent thing, it's just that it is a tent thing, so I've got to think it and do shit at the same time, you know?
If I'm ever not in this box, just bring me here.
We need to B and Z to make sure he's, make sure he's earning his money. Yeah.
Yeah, we have, but the 5175.
Oh, sweet, so I'll go grab them. If anyone asks, do not fucking use these tags, because the next race is out. Okay, this is all that's available. So, because it's a car. Yeah, that'd be great.
Can I ask if you guys could call a name to come and see me at the merch area?
You drivers come and see you.
No, just two names to come and see me at the merch area.
Don't forget the major sponsors here at the 2025 IORK New Zealand Rental Kart Champs. Of course, we have Race Facer, Racing Software, and Rental Karts New Zealand, Rental Kart Suppliers. Also, don't forget the merchandise down there at the merchandise tent. Some very reasonably priced hoodies and caps, t-shirts. And also the sim races, $15 for 20 minutes, booking at the office. And remember, no smoking or vaping on site. Hope everyone's enjoying the action here at Go Media Stadium. Very shortly we'll be into the first of the finals, and that will be for the 100 kgs, and that'll be over 45 minutes. Was due to go at 10:40 a.m. and there'll be some heavy hitters in that one. That'll be the battle of the heavyweights. Talking of heavyweights, here's 3 and Z.
Wow.
You got. How do you see that one panning out there, Lancelot?
I just plan on putting everyone in the wall.
Oh, that's going to be very interesting to watch. He's got a good experience with that sort of thing. I can speak from personal experience. And don't forget, of course, after the 100 kg final, we will have the rerun of Heat 6 for the under 69s. I'll tell you what, there's some real flyers in the under 69, some of the fastest lap times you will see. I'm sure we'll see someone in the 27s when it comes to the under 69 kgs. Okay, can we please have the 100 plus category into the area over here by the Ace Karts Motorsport briefing room, briefing area. Nothing like a bit of Dr. Peppers to lubricate the tonsils. Okay, we've got B and Z here. Who's your money on in this 100k heavyweight final there, B and Z?
I've got my money on Ryan Groen from Wellington, but also Dan and Lance could be a challenge too. I think you've also got Andrew Barber in there, so to be honest, it could go with anybody.
Okay, Franz, you could be well right there, but there's a fair bit of competition in this one. And mine has to be on Christchurch man Dan Kennelly, a former 1NZ, but he's going to have to watch out for Andrew Barber.
Yep, he'll have to watch out for him and everyone else behind him if he's starting from pole. So we'll find out when they do the draw.
Okay, it looks like we have semi-final B, so this is just before the 100 kg final. 70 to 85 kg. No, yeah, 70 to 85 kg. And this is the second semi-final for the 75, 70 to 85 kg. So I take it is the top 8 will go through to the final.
Yep, I believe so.
I'll take one. I think my pick in this one would have to be Mandela Pluck in cart number 4. Mandela, who races regularly out of Supercarts Indoor Raceway. We do have the grids now. On grid 1, it is cart number 6. Cart number 8, sorry, and that is Lucas Pertry. On grid 2 is cart number 9, Andre Camillo. Grid 3 is cart 13, Paul Cabell. Off grid 4 is cart 15, John Anderson. Off grid 5 is cart number 7, Curtis Smythe. Off grid 6 is cart number 19, JJ Brett. Off grid 7 is cart number 17, Jonathan Camp. Off grid 8 is cart number 18, James Hockley. Off grid 9, the owner of Supercarts Indoor Raceway, is cart number 21.
And watch out for
Nicola Warpenden. Yes, you'll have to watch out for him. On grid 10 is cart number 11, Oscar Grant. Off grid 11 is cart number 12, Mark Crook. Off grid 12, it's Hoogie. Cart number 20, Malcolm Hooger Forst. Off grid 13 is cart number 10, Jacob Fleming from Christchurch. Also from Christchurch, off grid 14 is cart number 4, Mandela Pluck. Off grid 15 is cart number 3, Brett Hodgins. Off grid 16 is cart number 14, that is Bill Elster. Fair bit of work, but he's got a quick go-kart. That is cart number 4, Mandela Pluck from grid 14. That's going to be all on the line. They'll have to try and make it into the top 8. Fair bit of work for some of the quick drivers to do in this one.
Yep, they've got their work cut out for them. There's some pretty quick guys in their group sitting there waiting to go out on the track.
And who's the driver of number 5?
That is, who is number 5?
No one. The Stick.
Yes, the Stick. The self-driving Stick.
Well, this is going to be a beauty, so remember the top 8 will advance through to the final. And this is perhaps the most competitive class here this weekend. Well, Lucas Pertree will start off the pole. The Nelsonian has been racing well in this competition so far. And if he can maintain a top 8 position, he will advance through to the final. Those pit stops are going to be oh so crucial. And Ash, you'd have to say that with the pit stops, you probably want to get one of those pit stops done and dusted pretty early.
Yeah, we saw that strategy working out. I don't know if I would, because we saw Adam Jenkins and Mandela Pluck in the last heat both pit really early, and neither one of them was able to make it through. So maybe pitting early and doing all 3 stops in this one is a terrible idea. I'd have to say so based on the last heat.
Well, I'll tell you what, Jeremy Pluck's having a good giggle sitting there on the concrete, just laughing at you there, because it's actually Jeremy Pluck, not Mandela. He's in this one, Mandela.
I know it's a Pluck, that's about all I've got between them. One's in one colour, one's in the other. I should really figure out which one's which.
Yeah, pluck that one out of the bag. Okay, we're about to go racing very shortly. They're just working out the grid positions, the grid order. I'll tell you what, you'd have a few butterflies, wouldn't you, there, Fraz?
Yeah, no, it's can be a nervous time lining up on the grid, getting ready to start. I know it was for me last year down in Nelson. You know, you're sitting in a fast car because you've spotted that one over the weekend, but then at the same time it's like, who else is going to want to just, you know, fight harder for that battle and get the win?
So if correct me if I'm wrong, so that means that Jeremy was in the last session and Mandela's in this one. So we've split the Plucks in the semi-finals. They were racing together the whole time throughout the heats, but now they're in different series. So where can Mandela do where perhaps Jerome never managed to get through? Sorry, Jerome.
Yeah, well, remember, of course, Mandela raced in the World Finals at San Pablo, acquitted himself very well, representing New Zealand. So we're about to go racing in the second of the semi-finals for 70 kg to 85. We keep saying it, but the top 8 will advance through to the final.
Oh, Lucas is out to an outstanding lead already, and he's already at turn 3.
Well, the Nelsonian just leaving them for dead at the moment. Into second place. It should be, that looks
Smythe.
Curtis Smythe into second.
Oh, Lucas is getting an outstanding run down that back straight. He's going to come flying in one and hold that lead.
I'll tell you what, that's a wise move. Stay out there, get a bit of air, get free track.
Oh, we've got 2 in for pits. They're using an early pit strategy in this one.
It's cart number 17.
And 12.
And 12. And they're just not coming up on the screen at the moment, so we'll have to work that one out later. But we'll pick up your race leader. It looks like Lucas is under a lot of pressure now. That gap is really closed down.
Yeah,
Curtis Smythe knocking on the door.
Curtis definitely closed that gap in that lap. I didn't even see that.
Well, there goes the big move from Curtis Smythe to the front of the field. Lucas is looking for a chance to sort of slip up the inside. I'd suggest watch through turn number 8. He'll be right on his hammer.
Yeah, those 2 are definitely front runners in this one, I think.
Might be a good chance for Lucas to pit next time around. Get his first stop out of the way. Talking of stopping out of the way, we've got cart number 9 just coming into the pits.
And you've got Mandela coming up fast, currently sitting in 4th place at the moment.
Yeah, well, that's good driving from Mandela Pluck. Remember, he came from much further back on the grid.
Yeah, he was about 12 or 13, I think, from memory.
Yeah, he's going to have to get a bit of a wiggle on, but certainly be wanting to finish at the head of this field because that'll help his good position for the final.
Yep, it certainly will, but Paul Cavill's also holding his own too, so he seems to be fighting that cart.
Okay, so we pick up your race order at this stage. It is Curtis Smythe, Lucas Petrie, the Nelsonian, sits there in second place from Mandela Pluck in third. Paul Cavill up to fourth ahead of James Hockley. Then we go back to Silky Smooth, owner of Supercarts Indoor Raceway. That's Nicholas Warburton. Then we have Malcolm Hoogie, the next one through, ahead of Bill Alsford, who's just been passed by JJ Prax.
Yeah, Curtis doing a really strong job there, and Lucas also really strong, but Mandela Pluck actually able to make successfully into third. That's a strong showing from him. He's definitely going to be a favourite for this. Paul Cavill, again, really strong in that top four, so really interesting to see the difference of this pit strategy in this race versus the last one.
Okay, I think we might see a 27 in this one. We've got Mandela Pluck already down to a 28.1.
Oh, definitely, I'd have to imagine that it would be any moment now before anyone would be able to do a 27. It's just a matter of time.
Okay, so pick up your race leader. It's still Lucas Petrie. Well, it is Lucas Petrie, as former race leader has come into the pits, but sitting there in first place now, it is Mandela Pluck. So Lucas Petrie just doing another pit stop, or his first pit stop, as Paul Cavill sits there in second ahead of Malcolm Hoogervoice and Nicholas Warburton, the two Christchurch drivers sitting there third, fourth and first.
Yeah, and Phil Alsford working his way up through that grid. We saw a strong showing from Phil in the first one, so another attempt here for him to show what he can do.
Yeah, the way things are going, you can't discount it. Could be a Christchurch lockout on this one. Here comes the pit stop for Mandela Pluck. And he's away and racing once again. So Mandela Pluck, he was your race leader. I think he'll slot back into second place at this stage. So your race leader is now another Christchurch driver. It is Malcolm Hoogervoice ahead of Paul Cavill, Nicholas Warburton, Curtis Smythe, Mark Crook, Lucas Petrie and Mandela Pluck. Still there in seventh place, but looking quite comfortable for a
Polish has come in a bit, so he's going to drop down the back a few. We got a couple of Daytona boys out there at the moment. They're sitting currently 8th and 9th, so they seem to be doing an alright job. Just working their way through the pack from the back.
Oh, excellent stuff. Because Wellington have a great turnout of Wellington drivers this competition, and certainly they have been to the pointy end of the competition.
Yeah, definitely. They've come up, we came up as a big group, done a road trip up here, and yeah, they seem to be, like you said, they seem to be at the pointy end of the grid, and especially when it comes to the end of the race too.
They'll be looking for a bit of wind assistance in the final too.
Well, yeah, really could play a part depending on what happens later. We are in Auckland, so you never know, anything's possible.
Yeah, so we've got Malcolm Hoogervoice from Christchurch, your race leader. We've got another Christchurch driver sitting in second, that's Nicholas Warburton. Down there in third is Curtis Smythe. He's followed by the Nelsonian Lucas Petrie and yet another Christchurch driver, Jacob Fleming, and Phil Alsford.
Mandela's just coming to do another pit, and Paul Cavill's just coming through and doing another one himself. So these boys are getting their pits out of the way and trying to keep as much free air as possible in front of them.
Well, I'll tell you what, I think Mandela Pluck has just got the one pit stop to go, and he's still up there.
He's down to 10th at the moment.
Place at the moment, but remember he's done a couple of his pit stops. So I think once the racing continues and a few more pit stops, he'll bump up the order.
Yep. As long as there's those two Team Daytona boys in the top 8, I reckon we'll be away laughing.
Okay, we've got Malcolm Hoogervoice who's taken over the lead ahead of Curtis Smythe, Lucas Petrie and Jacob Fleming.
Yeah, so interesting that Mandela's fallen down to 10th, right? It was pretty strong at the beginning of the race, but falling back, those pit stops really affecting him, right? But everyone's going to do the same amount of pit stops, so a bit of a different position for each of them.
Yeah, I'm sure it won't be long before we see Mandela Pluck in the top 8, and as I said, he's up to 7th already.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to be cutting through those people left, right and centre, but we've seen that traffic hurt people throughout this racing series before.
I talked about the 27s, and look at that, Mandela Pluck's down to a 27.93.
If anyone was going to do it first, it would be him. 27.9, though, so only just barely in the 27s, and still ridiculously fast lap. He was trying on that one.
Well, Hoogie doing the business out front from Christchurch. Malcolm Hoogervoist ahead of Nelsonian. The South Island is killing it at the moment with Lucas Pertry sitting there in second.
Yeah, and Phil's slowly working his way up in 7th, so still a strong contender, still got a good opportunity, and Paul Cavill on 11th.
And there goes Lucas Pertry, the man in second. He dropped back down to third as he does his pit stop. And Jacob Fleming taking advantage, another of the Christchurch drivers.
I'm confident that won't hurt Lucas too bad. He's a strong driver and should be able to make back those positions pretty easily.
Well, Malcolm doing a great job out there. And we'll just have a look at his lead as he comes around. We'll see what the gap is. And it is 18 seconds. So I suggest that Malcolm's got to do another pit stop.
Yeah, Malcolm's still definitely got pit stops to go. 18 seconds is a bit too much of a gap to another driver. And then he's just pitted now, so Malcolm's in the pits.
Yeah, Malcolm will be happy he got the inside lane there. He's away and laughing. Malcolm Hoogervoist.
That's going to drop him down, and probably Jacob Fleming's going to end up taking the lead. I reckon it's just a matter of Della Pluck in first place.
Oh, look at this, it's the Christchurch 1, 2, 3. You don't get any better than that. Okay, it's Malcolm Hoogie out front from Jacob Fleming and Mandela Pluck now up to third place. Oh, Mandela's coming to the pit, so he'll drop back, but he'll still be in the top 8. Lucas Pertry taking his place. Either Phil Elsford, Curtis Smith, Smythe, Brett Huggins, and Mark Crook, and Mandela Pluck back to 8th place. That's the last of his pit stops. And talking of pit stops, we've got our race leader, or former race leader, Malcolm Hoogie, just doing his last stop.
Yeah, and of course, we've still got plenty of time left in the session, 5 minutes and 40 seconds. So in a heat race, this would still be most of the race, but in this semi-finals, it's a good a third of the way through, so still plenty of time left to make some moves.
Well, the South Islanders are really killing it at the moment over the North Islanders with Jacob Fleming in cart number 10, your race leader, ahead of Malcolm Hoogervoist in cart number 20, then back to cart number 8, and that's Lucas Pertry in third place.
Yeah, but Mandela's struggling. He's down in 8, and we would figure that, considering that we know that Malcolm's done his 3 and he's in 4, Mandela's going to have a hard time. Lucas is just coming to the pits as well.
And Malcolm as well, so they'll be completing their last stops. And just looking where they are, Lucas sitting there in 7th place, Malcolm in 8th. He's right on the bubble, and he's got another Christchurch driver outside looking in. That's Jonathan Camp.
Yeah, going to be a tough battle for them. Coming down to the final few minutes of this race, it's going to be anyone's to gain, but Phil Elsford in a good position. Mandela Pluck down in 6th, should have an opportunity, but yeah, Jacob Fleming in the pound seat, it seems.
Oh, another Christchurch driver leading this one at the moment, but suggest that Jacob will have another pit stop to do.
Yeah, I think Mandela's probably the first of our drivers that has done all of his 3, just given the gaps that we've got here. So by the looks of it, Mandela's in a good position. Lucas has just done his, and we can see Malcolm drop back down to 9th after that last stop.
Well, I'm sure the cream will rise to the crop of the field. We see Nicholas Warburton. Quite a few Christchurch drivers in this one, but it is the Christchurch driver leading at the moment after 22 laps with 4 minutes still to run. That's Jacob Fleming and Phil Elsford. I'll tell you what, Phil was doing an outstanding job there, Fraz.
Yep, Phil's definitely on pace this morning, so hopefully it carries on throughout the rest of the day.
I'll tell you what I'm noticing is quite interesting is it seems like a lot of the drivers are all pitting one lap after the other. They're trying to do a sequential pit, so they just pit every single time rather than breaking the pits up throughout the race. So it means that these drivers are dropping back huge amounts of times, a minute and a half, just from doing 3 pit stops in a row. I don't know what the strategy behind that is, why you would do so many back-to-back. I'd be waiting for clear air and when you're running into traffic to do that.
Well, I can tell you that the fastest driver out there is Mandela Pluck at 27.86. And he's the only one in the 27s out there, so he's the class of the field at the moment, but he's sitting back there in 6th position.
Regarding the pits, it just comes down to the personal owned strategy. and what's happening in front of them and around them, really. I know if I was out there, I'd run my own pit strategy, and it might not be 3 back-to-back pit stops, but then it could also be, you know, you go out, you do 5 laps, you come in, you do 2, and then you got yourself a 5-minute break.
Yeah, I think you can't go in with such a rigid strategy. If you're going in with a rigid strategy and you're not adapting to the race, you're not maximising your opportunities and you're not making the most of the race. And I feel like a few drivers are sticking to that pre-decided, determined strategy, thinking it's going to be optimal, and maybe that's catching them out.
And it gives you a bit of a breather if you space those pit stops out too, doesn't it?
Oh, definitely. My recommendation is you space them out in the final, because you're going to want that breather, especially if they're longer pit stops.
And there we go, Jacob Fleming. He'll be just doing his last pit stop right now. So he'll drop down the order. He was leading there for a while. Can he make the top 8? That's the big question. He slots into Groot's position 6, just ahead of his club mate, Malcolm Hoogie.
Yeah, and of course, when we're talking about the pits and the pit strategy, you stop there for a little bit longer than we were doing in the heats as well, and it's a little bit more strategic, but that free air, as you're talking about, it's not just good for the mental state, it's also good for the lap times. Free air results in a faster lap time. That 27 that we saw come from Pluck, that would have only come because he didn't have anyone in front of him. Now, he's not doing those 27s every lap. If we look at where Mandela's sitting currently, he's doing 28.1, so he's not capable of doing those 27s in the dirty air and in the traffic.
Yeah, Curtis Smythe is leading at the moment. We did say earlier in the race that the South Islanders were killing it, but now the North Islanders are coming back into it. Curtis Smythe, your race leader, ahead of Mark Crook and Brett Hodgins, that's what I said.
That's all right, you'll get there by the end of the weekend, Sid. We got Curtis Smith coming around the front, coming around the first corner now. He seems to be holding his own out the front.
It's right, Mandela Pluck up to 4th place, so expect him to move up. He's 18 seconds
And you know what? We're on the last lap, so Curtis Smythe has an opportunity here to seal a win on the semi-finals. Mandela, where's Mandela? He's in 4th, so he's got an opportunity of filling this out. Bill Elsford in 8th, but yeah, last lap, who's going to win?
Well, you have to say that Curtis Smythe, it's his race to lose on the last lap.
We're going to spin, we're going to spin, we're going to spin.
Mandela Pluck, he's making the position right round the outside on the last lap.
Oh, that's catastrophe. He's lost a position there. He's slowed down dramatically. Hopefully that's not a battle for the lead, because, yeah, that was dramatic.
Okay, we pick up your race leader, Curtis Smythe, ahead of Mark Crook. Mandela Pluck up to 3rd place now.
I think that's race over. That's race over.
Okay, so the positions are Curtis Smythe in cart number 7, your race winner for the semi-final of the 70 to 85 kg. Mark Crook sits there in 2nd in cart number 12. Mandela Pluck in cart number 4 was 3rd. Jacob Fleming, another Christchurch driver, he qualifies in 4th position. My screen's gone off. We'll just have a look over here. Looks like another Christchurch driver, the 3rd of the Christchurch drivers to qualify. Malcolm Hoogervoice back there in 5th position ahead of Jonathan Camp. That's 4 Christchurch drivers in the top 6. Okay, so Curtis Smythe, your race winner from Mark Crook. Mandela Pluck in 3rd. Jacob Fleming in 4th. Fifth place to Malcolm Hoogervoice. Then we go back to Jonathan Camp in 6th. Phil Elsford, and the last qualifier is Brett Hodgins, and the most unlucky person out there is Nicholas Warburton, finishing back in 9th position. And rounding out the top 10, Lucas Pertry from Nelson. He was right up there early in the race.
All right, guys, and just for those in the crowd, the under 69 category replacement race from last night that had to be cancelled. That's going to be run straight after this race. So if you're in that 69 under kg, it's not going to be 11:45. We're just running a little bit behind. So you're going to have to come down straight after this race. So under 69, those ones that were in that race, come down now, and then we'll have the 100 kg race straight after that.
Jacob Fleming, you qualified from the semi-final through to the final for a 70 to 85 kg, 4th place overall. I'll tell you what, there are I think 4 or 5 Christchurch drivers managed to make it through to the final. You guys will be rapt about that.
Mate, Christchurch does it the best. They always have, and they always will.
Oh, there's no strikes with our family, is there?
You got it.
Excellent stuff there from Jacob Fleming. Okay, we move on now. It looks like it is the 100 kg final. Okay, can we have Curtis Smythe to the grid? Oh, Curtis Smythe to the commentary booth, please. Okay, we're getting ready very shortly for the final, the 100 kg, the battle of the heavyweights. It looks like we're going to a quick interview with Curtis Smythe, the winner of that last semi-final heat. Curtis, what a fantastic drive. You'd be absolutely wrapped. This will give you first pick, win it for car or grid position for the final.
Yeah, hopefully. I'm not too sure how it works from the semis. I've been head down just trying to get as many points as I could in the heats and haven't really achieved what I was shooting to achieve, but got enough to be able to pick a decent kart for the semi at least, and then we'll see what happens for the final.
When you came in, did you realise that you won the race, or what was going on there in your head?
I knew I'd done all right. I looked up in the stands at the family and they were giving me a fist bump and a thumbs up, so I knew I'd done okay, but it wasn't until I got out and actually got the word that I'd got P1. So happy with that.
Okay, whereabouts are you from, Curtis?
From Tauranga.
From Tauranga, excellent stuff. And how's your mate, Lance Somerville, going to go on this one?
Oh, he's got some pretty stiff competition here, old Ducky McGee. It's a pretty stacked, this whole competition's pretty stacked, eh? We keep saying it, there's stacked races, but every race so far has been good hard competition. There's some pretty heavy competitors in this category, so see what he can do.
Okay, give it up for your race winner in the last of the semi-finals for the 70 to 85 kg class, Curtis Smythe.
Oh, well, we've got the heavies going out, the over hundreds at the moment. Going to go start lining up on the grid for their final race of the weekend.
Okay, Fraz, who's your money on this one?
Oh, to be honest, there's 3 names that have stuck out to me all weekend, and that's Dan, Ryan, and Lance. Andrew Barber's up there too, but from the sounds of it, he's definitely got his work cut out for him in this final.
Yeah, well, you mentioned Dan, you mentioned Ryan. I think it's going to go between those two, but of course you can never discount our man Andrew Barber, I think, will also be up there or thereabouts. It's a matter of trying to get on that podium. But you look at the grids. Okay, grid 1, we have Shamil Archishi off grid 1 in kart number 9. Off grid 2, we have kart number 19, Stephen Martin. Off grid 3, kart number 8, Darren Mudford. Off grid 4 is kart number 18, Abdul Rakib. Off grid 5, we have kart number 7, Andrew Barber. Off grid 6, we have kart number 21, Kerry Jansen. Off 7, we have kart number 11, Nick Holt. Off 8, we have kart number 17, Craig Buckley. Off 9, we have one of the favourites, cart number 12 from Christchurch, Dan Canali. Off grid 10, we have cart 6, Stephen Lee. And I'll get you to read out the rest of the...
And P11 we got Ryan Smythe in cart number 3. And P12 we got Malachi Maloney in number 14. P13 one of the locals from Wellington, Ryan Growan in cart 4. Then you got Lance Somerville in P14 from Tauranga in cart 20. And Hamish Cleland, P15 in cart 10. And Stace Local in P16 and number 15. He's also a local Auckland boy.
Well, he's actually from Whangarei, as far as I'm aware.
Yes, I do actually believe that, but this would be his local track. Because there's not any go-kart tracks up there, I don't think.
Okay, it is the first of the finals at the 2025 New Zealand IORK Championships, and this one's going to be a beauty. Are we going to see a repeat winner in this class? Of course, we've got two former winners. Of course, Andrew Barber has taken this title before, and so has Dan Canali. Of course, Andrew Barber from Tauranga, Dan Canali from Christchurch. Who's it going to be?
I reckon it's going to be the rubber ducky.
Well, he's certainly going to have a part to play, I'd say.
You'd hope so. Maybe some slipstream help.
Yeah, so the anxiety for the drivers as they wait for the lights. And everything counts for nothing from here on in. 45 minutes of extreme action here at Go Media Stadium.
All right, nearly there, nearly there.
It's the calm before the storm.
It sure is. Bear with us. While they're waiting, what sort of chaos are you expecting in turn 1 in this final?
I'm expecting big chaos, but there won't be as much big chaos because Lance is towards the back of the field.
Well, there's some feeling singling out one driver. You know, you've also got Dan. He is dive bomb Dan for a reason.
Oh, Dan's a clean driver. You look how many penalties the Christchurch drivers have had compared with the Auckland and Wellington drivers this weekend.
Oh, there's been a few Wellington drivers up there. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, they've certainly done well with their race pace, the Wellington drivers. Looking forward to seeing Tui Smiler up against Mandela Pluck. That's going to be one of the all-time rivalries here at IORK for 2025.
Oh, yeah, that's definitely going to be a battle that you don't want to miss. We're just sussing out the pits for the final. Just a couple of adjustments.
Well, pit stop strategy could be the telling factor. We just saw in the last semi-final, Curtis Smythe, who you would have to say was up there or thereabouts, but wasn't the favourite, came through and stole it away.
Yeah, well, I mean, when you get out to that sort of lead at the start of the race, with the leader himself, it definitely helps.
Okay, it looks like the thumbs up, so it won't be very long before we go racing. The revs will build. The tension mounts.
Here we go. Green flag's going to drop. 3, 2, here we go. And we're off. Couple of jump starts from the grid there.
Oh, great start from cart number 8. And cart number 8 was Darren Mudford off grid 2. And, looks like Andrew Barber has hit the front already.
Yeah, that was a good move up through turn 1, 2 and 3, and he's got a nice little buffer, about 4 car gap behind him.
So your race leader down the back straight should be Andrew Barber. We'll see who does that first pit stop.
There we go, P1 straight into pits.
In fact, that was cart number 7, which was Andrew Barber, I was right. Kerry Jansen sits in second place.
There's a good battle going on mid-pack there. They all seem to be a bit bunched up.
Oh, this won't be helping Dan Canelli's... oh, look, Lance Somerville, he's had a blinder. He's through into the middle of the field already.
It's a very long pit stop this time, guys, so make sure you know what you're doing.
There goes Dan Canelli up to third place. That could be a telling factor in this one. Round the outside of...
And you got Roy Long coming into pit lane here. He's in for his first pit stop of 4.
Okay, down the back straight they go. It's nose to tail sup. I think that's a lap marker that Andrew Barker might be behind. Andrew Barker slips up the inside.
Yep, now he's shaking his head, he's not happy. He's in the lead and behind a back marker.
He should be happy, he's in the lead. Dan Canelli up to third place now. Now these two, Andrew Barber and Dan Canelli, are arch rivals. Both former champions here in IORK. Kerry Jansen there. Oh, we've got some controversy here.
Who is that? Can anyone see a number?
Well, he would have dropped to the back of the field. So that should be Taylor. Ryan Groen.
No.
Oh my goodness, is that Ryan Groen?
No, not him. He's in car... It was car 19. Not sure who's in there, sorry.
Yeah, there's Lance Somerville for his first pit stop.
Yeah. Oh, red flag.
V. V for victory.
Oh, we're a bit confused about what's going on here. Hold on.
Oh, it looks like it's a red flag, so it looks like it's going to be a complete restart, possibly. Oh no, things have turned to cactus. It's a red flag, so everyone comes into the pits.
So red flags after last night's incident caused a little bit of chaos with the stopping on the track. It was decided for safety reasons that here at the Ace track, because it's such a large track, red flags would result in all the drivers returning to the pits, not stopping on the track immediately. So this red flag's obviously brought everyone back in.
Lance seems pretty happy with himself sitting there in pit lane after having a drink.
Yeah, a bit of chaos, and the team will now have to work out how they're going to assign this, but yeah. New rules for the finals going forward, so red flags result in drivers returning to the pit lane.
I'll tell you what, Andrew Barber will be absolutely gutted. He had a good lead there, Fraz.
Yep.
He counts for nothing.
He had a good lead, but if it's just a roll out and they stay in their positions...
I'll tell you what, Dan Canelli will be licking his lips. He was up to third place, but it's only going to take a better start and he'll be right at that point again.
Yeah, so that order, he's still first.
So the drivers will get another bite of the cherry. So what does this do to your nerves, Fraz? You've been through the situation before.
Not this. I've never had to sit through a red light during go-karts before coming off the track, especially in a final.
Well, think of a red traffic light in Auckland then.
Oh, I hate driving in Auckland. I'm glad I'm a passenger this week, put it that way. It's Spaghetti Junction up here, so sometimes you go the wrong way and then you got to figure out how to get back to where you're supposed to be. In this instance, it's back on the track.
So they're coming back into the pits, are they?
Yep.
Okay, so we're redressing here, so...
Just putting them back in race order, I'm guessing, from the looks of this.
Bit of a wave from Dan the man. So it looks like they will be put back into their positions.
How the red light? Readdressing a few positions here, bear with us people. The ones that are being sent out are out of sync, so they're just being resynced up.
Talking about a sink, there's Lance.
Yes, well, the rubber ducky probably could go pedaling in the sink.
Lucky Lance ducked into the pits because he was able to get a good a bit of liquid to cool himself down.
Yep, he was one of the lucky ones that got to have a drink beforehand.
I know why that duck's there, because ducks like rain.
Oh, don't go saying that. There'll be a few unhappy people standing on the sidelines watching if you say that. Oh, we got rain coming from the crowd.
Oh, he's doing
Don't vote for rain.
He's doing his stretches. He meets
So
him.
go outside track driver. Oh, we're heading back out on the track now. From the looks of it, bumper to bumper until the lights go green.
Oh, this is going to be exciting. Dan Canali back there in 4th place. He was up to 3rd.
Andrew Barber's taking lead of the field. Let's see when he decides to put his foot down on the right pedal.
So after that aborted start, of course, you know, it's a bit of a shame. Some of the drivers have been disadvantaged or advantaged, but that's how the cookie crumbles.
Yep, that's racing, definitely.
Okay, it looks like is it going to be a rolling start here?
We're rolling start for this one.
Exciting.
Andrew Barber
in
is
the
the
pace
field.
man.
There we go, and we're back racing. Oh, he's jumped off to a good lead.
Watch out for Dan Canali in that
Yes,
first.
already jumped out to about a 4-car lead.
Andrew Barber all the way from Tauranga.
Going to take the advantage of the bunched up field throughout the mid-pack.
Watch out for the move from Dan Canali sitting there in 4th place.
Yeah, he's sitting on that bumper like he's being towed.
Oh, there he goes to the outside. He goes. Andrew Barber, Kerry Jensen, Dan Canali up to 3rd place ahead of Stephen Lee, and then back to Shamil.
We've got a good battle there between car 4 and car 20 and Lance and Ryan. Bit of a battle between Tower and Wellington Tracks.
Okay, looks like a couple of pit stops. Shamil there in car number 9, and car number 6 is Stephen Lee.
These boys are tucking their heads down along the back straight just for that extra bit of speed.
Okay, another pit stop coming here. Yes, another one.
We've got 2 coming in the pits now.
And car number 11.
Interesting to see their tactics, considering later on in the race they might want a pit stop as a breather.
Well, he's not on our screen, unfortunately, car number 11. Nick Holt, I'm told. And cart number 10, that looks like Hamish Leland.
Yeah, and of course the red flag in this session causing a bit of a difference in the race. It's going to be a really big advantage to Andrew Barber because he was at the front of that grid. He was able to get some clear air. So if Andrew Barber was smart right now, he'd be pushing out to try and gain some really fast lap times. And it would be advantage to Barber in this session because of that red flag.
But talking of really fast lap times, look at Dan Canali back there in 3rd place, set the fastest lap at 28.90. He's just behind Kerry Jensen, but for how much longer?
I don't think Dan will be too much worried about Andrew. I'm sure Dan's got confidence.
There goes the move from Dan Canali, moves through to 2nd place. He sets his sight on arch rival.
Oh, and Dan just got repassed into that corner, so not quite as easy as he was hoping. Lifted the door a little bit open there, Dan.
Yeah, you never leave the door open, somebody will sneak through.
Oh, but Dan's coming down on the backside, so hoping to reclaim that pace with a little bit of overspeed into the corner. Dan pointing out midway through the racing, he should probably focus on the steering and less on the jerking around, but he's right on the backside of Kerry Jansen, so the battle between Dan Canali and Kerry Jansen is a tight one.
Well, it looks like Dan Canali's got a wee bit more pace than Kerry, but he's been held up by Kerry. And that's allowing Andrew Barker just to stretch his lead a smidgen.
Yeah, Kerry's doing a fantastic job of defending, but it's resulted in Andrew Barber just walking away with it. So Dan has tried to mitigate the damage and just said, might not go into the pit, so he's mitigated the damage. He couldn't get past Kerry, get his pit done and get back into some clean air, and then hopefully Dan can get some fast laps going again.
Yeah, to say it's damage limitation time for Dan Kennelly as he serves his pit stop.
Yeah, totally. He's going to come out into some really clean air with that pit stop, so he's going to have plenty of time. And we're seeing a double stack being way more dangerous now with these longer pit stops. We've got a driver that's just sitting, waiting, losing time, still going to do their own pit stop, but can't get into the box because there's someone already there.
Okay, we need to remind the thousands of spectators here at Go Media Stadium how many pit stops we have to do in this race. 4 for each driver.
Not only that, but if you have a look, Dan's just come out ahead of Kerry after his pit stop, so he's almost a lap down on Kerry, but not quite. He's just ahead of him, so Kerry, if he gets his pit between his teeth, he could pass Dan and make Dan a lap down.
Well, Andrew Barber, your race leader, with a 1.7 lead over Kerry Jansen. Then back to Ryan Smythe, and back and forth is Abdul Rakib.
Yeah, obviously to note now, Dan is technically a lap down because he's behind Andrew Barber on the grid after his pit stop, so Dan a lap down, and so hopefully Andrew has a longer pit stop as well.
But look who we've got in the pits now. It's Somerville.
Yeah, he got a huge advantage in the red flag because he pitted during the red flag, so his time, that whole 8 seconds, which was super long, counted the entire time while he was in the red, so he was just ticking away, getting a massive advantage there, probably one of the best ones of the whole competition, so he's effectively made 8 seconds for free.
Okay, here comes a pit stop for kart number...
Andrew Barber's coming in. Andrew Barber's coming in as well, so Dan Kennelly's got his opportunity. He's got to get a whole lap on Andrew Barber because now Andrew Barber is in the pits.
Well, we've got to say Andrew Barber, a smart driver, but he's had to go to the outside lane, which is a slight disadvantage in the pits. He's just getting a bit of Powerade.
Yeah, obviously one of the advantages of a long pit stop is that drivers are allowed to get receive water during their pit stops, but not in the last 10 minutes of this race. So once that clock gets down to 10 minutes and 20 minutes time, they will no longer be allowed to receive that aid.
Okay, our order is going out front. It's kart number 21. That is Gary Jansen, your race leader. In second place, it is kart number 3. That is Ryan Smythe. In third place, it's Abdul Rakib in kart number 18. In fourth place is kart number 7, Andrew Barber. And right behind him is kart number 12, Dan Kennelly.
Yeah, and of course a really tight battle going on between Dan and Andrew. Dan's just behind Andrew right now, so after the pit stops, Dan is right on Andrew's tail, but he's effectively skipped passing Kerry Jansen, so that pit stop for Dan has meant that he's able to effectively have passed Kerry and now able to be right on Andrew Barber's tail, and Dan's about to pass Andrew Barber coming down to the back straight. He's at almost the inside line. They're going bumper to bumper. Can Dan take the win here from Andrew Barber? This is going to be a battle for position here post undercut of the pit stop. So Dan comes up to the inside line, comes up to the switchback, doesn't make it successful. Andrew says, I'm going to close that door, and says, goodbye, Dan. No way you're winning this race.
I wouldn't say that. It's going to be a close battle between these two. Remember, they are both former 1NZs here at IORK. Yes, Andrew Barber is the defending champ, and of course Dan Kennelly won it back in 2023.
And you have to say Dan's been a little bit stronger this competition, but Andrew still also really fast as well.
Here it comes half against lap traffic. Now this could sort the men out from the boys.
Oh, it looks like Dan's lost the position there. He's got stuck behind someone and not able to, but Andrew was able to pass. So Dan now lost the position effectively, or almost two, because now Andrew's just gone past another person. So Dan...
Oh, it's got a touchy-feely going on here. Just got
Dan's coming into the pits as well, so lost the position and then decided to just pit. So Dan Kennelly into the pits now, got a bit of a break, able to readjust his belts, but Andrews keeps going around the track.
Just tightening his belts, psyching himself up once again, ready to go out on track.
We do know that the drivers can sometimes hear us in that pit lane, so obviously Dan, good luck out there. Keep pushing.
You know that probably the clear favourites, Ryan Grom, Andrew Baker, and Andrew Barber and of course Dan Canelli, clear favourites, but somebody can always come in and spoil the party, spoil the apple cart.
I wouldn't rule out Kerry Jansen, I wouldn't rule out Craig Buckley, both fast drivers in this field, so all could do something. I could probably say we can rule out Lance.
Well, Ryan Smythe is your race leader at the moment in cart number 3, ahead of Andrew Barber in 7 and Craig Buckley, and he's no slug, sitting there in 3rd place in cart number 7. Then go back to Ryan Graham in cart number 4.
Andrew Barber's now coming to the pit, so Dan's got an opportunity to potentially undercut Andrew Barber. So let's see where Dan comes out after Andrew's pit stop. Now Dan just coming down on the final back straight, coming into the corner in a second. Well, Andrew's only just left the pits now, so it's going to be incredibly close between them.
Oh, this one's going to go down to wire.
Dan comes out ahead of Andrew Barber, so Dan successfully undercut Andrew Barber in that pit, and Dan is now effectively, after the pit stops have been accounted for, your race leader. So Dan Canelli out in the lead, and a decent gap between him and Andrew Barber. Andrew's going to have to put the pedal down to win this race.
But of course they are sitting back in 5th and 6th at the moment, and your race leader is Craig Buckley from Ryan Grant. He's flying under the radar at the moment, sitting there in 2nd place, ahead of Kerry Jensen and Ryan Smythe.
Yeah, of course the race that we're commentating on is a little bit delayed given the pit stops, but we're pretty comfortable in understanding where most people are. Dan Canelli got a decent gap across Andrew Barber. It's one to keep an eye on, but you're right, a red flag or some other instance could change this race completely. It's not over, and we've got plenty of time, 27 minutes still to go.
Yeah, just looking in the outside of the top 10 there, or just inside the top 10, you've got Lance Somerville back there in 9th. One of our co-commentators. So the order, Craig Buckley in cart number 7, your race leader, ahead of Ryan Grant, cart number 4. That's a quick cart number 4. Ahead of Kerry Jansen, Ryan Smythe, Dan Canelli, Andrew Barber, Stephen Lee, and Abdul Rakib.
Yeah, we managed to sneakily convince one of the drivers to let us know that cart 4 was one that everyone was keeping their eye on, so imagine now everyone in the field's listening and going, maybe I should be trying to get cart 4. It might become a very hotly contested cart later in the championship.
Okay, just looking for the quickest lap time out there. I can see a 28.7. 3 drivers in 28.7. That's Ryan Smythe, Dan Canelli and Andrew Barber, and they sit back in 4th, 5th and 6th place overall.
Yeah, they're working their way back up. Obviously, they've done a lot of their pits already, so Lance has just come in and done his pits as well. Lance trying his best here, and the duck's just not helping. It's just adding aerodynamics. He's just trying to understand how much time he's got between now and then. Shakes his head, doesn't want any water.
And he's asking for how much more time. It's 26 minutes.
Yeah. Lance, it's 26 minutes if you can hear us. 26 minutes to go.
19 minutes, 9 minutes. No, that's to go. Oh, that's to go. 26 to go. Okay, another of the pit stoppers is cart number 17 coming into the pits. And that is our race leader, Craig Buckley, slips down to 3rd place and taking over the lead. No surprises here, Ryan Grove.
Not to mention, this is a 45-minute race in midday heat, so the sun's probably at its most powerful. It's baking down, and the driver's already going to be pretty exhausted from the physical strain of racing for 45 minutes with these big heavy carts, but then also add in the sun on top of it. This is becoming a bit of an exhaustion-based race.
Well, cart number 3 in the pits. And just looking, number 3, that looks like is it Ryan Smythe? Anyway, we pick up your race leader, Ryan Graham. A good lead of 1.5 seconds over Kerry Jansen, Andrew Barber in 3rd, and we've got Dan Canelli. This must be his 3rd or 4th pit stop.
Yeah, Dan's getting his pit stops done early. We've seen him consistently come in, so he's pretty confident. He's looking at his watch to figure out how much time's left on the session. He's got 24 minutes left on the session before it's all finished up and done with.
And just looking at Dan's fastest lap time, he slips down to 7th position overall. At 28.7. I almost thought that was a 26. Bit of glare on the screen there.
And 28 at this time of day and with this heavy of a category, that's pretty impressive. these big boys, once they get those carts moving, they tend to hold the speed a lot better because the weight just keeps the momentum moving, with the lighter carts tend to scrub it off more. So these bigger boys, they can carry the speed through these corners.
Well, Ryan Graham, I'm pretty sure he's from Wellington, doing an outstanding job there.
Yep, Ryan seems to be doing a pretty good job holding his own out the front there. It's just going to come down to his pitch strategy, really. To be honest, he's a pretty good pitch strategizer, especially when it comes down at home. He's pretty on the money when it comes to that sort of stuff. So let's see what happens throughout the rest of the race.
Yeah, and Dan Kennelly and Lance are almost finding each other on the track. So our fellow commentators almost meeting each other on the track now. But Dan just settling into some fast laps, coming up to some lap traffic. So he needs to get past them as quickly as possible if he wants to maximise his pit stop undercut.
Yeah, well, at the moment we've got 4 of them on the track that are all doing 28.7s. So the lap times are getting down.
Yeah, strong showing from these guys. Good performance from them in a 45-minute session. It's a long session.
Certainly is. We've got kart 6, Stephen Lee, coming into pits to do his pit stop.
And the marshal's just giving a sign, letting the drivers know there's 23 minutes to go. So all the drivers now will be aware that we're probably halfway through the session. 23 is about halfway through the session, just a little bit over.
Yeah, pretty much. 45-minute session split too, so yeah, not just a little bit of maths.
Okay, Dan Kennelly out there, of course, one of the favourites. He's up to, 5th place at the moment, 37 years of age. His motorsport heroes are Malcolm Hoogervoice and Greg Murphy. He's raced at IORK 5 times. He's won the 100 kg and over class back in 2023 at Nelson. And he's been one of the main organisers here at IORK.
Yeah, it's a fantastic event here and a fantastic venue, fantastic racing. I can't commend it enough. IORK 2025 has been one of our best years to date, and this is some of the best racing we've ever had.
Okay, we've got 2 drivers in the pits. We've got kart number 10 and kart number 6. And just both languishing down the order. I think one of those was Nick Holt. And possibly Steve Lartell.
It's getting so hot out there on the track. I can see the heat waves bouncing off of it. Obviously with the tar seal, it's a very, very hot track because it's a large tar seal track, so it gains a lot of heat and temperature and tends to hold it for a while. So the track is really hot right now.
Okay, kart number 17 and 3rd place, Craig Buckley in the pits.
And we've got we've got 2 drivers in the pits, so what that means is if anyone comes into the pits now, they're going to be delayed waiting for these drivers to get out of the pits because it's a long pit stop now.
I'll tell
and
you
we
what.
see someone coming in. Lance coming, and he's just going to get lucky because one of the drivers just left in time for Lance to fill that spot, so Lance is going to get away with that one.
Looks like he wants some more liquid. There he goes, he's getting some more Powerade by the looks of it. Just getting advice from his pit crew.
Now, obviously they're allowed to receive aid and only communication that pit stop during the first 35 minutes of the session, but in the last 10, they're not allowed to receive any communication, so Lance just getting it while he can and finding out what he needs to know about this race and how it's developing.
Well, I'll tell you what, we've done 40 laps now for our race leader, Ryan Groen, and there's 20 minutes still to run. Ryan Groen in the pits at the moment. The race leader. Will he come out ahead of Kerry Jensen? I'd say yes, he's got a 35-second lead.
And Ryan Groen's just left the pit stops now, so Ryan Groen was weight best to get into this category. He's just left the pits now, so he's also trying to pedal and get up through that list. But Dan Kennelly doing her up. Ryan Groen's probably going to drop back down to second now, and Kerry Jensen might take the lead.
Ash, if Ryan Groen wins this race, we will have a new winner of the IORK over 100 kg class. Of course, previous winners Dan Kennelly sitting in 3rd and Andrew Barber just off the podium in 4th.
And more ironically, if Ryan does win this category, he'll be the lightest driver to have ever won this category as well. Oh no, yeah, so we've had a few people win them with weight best in the past, so yeah, but it'll be quite funny.
and he will be the first Wellingtonian to win the over 100 kg category. Have we ever had a Wellingtonian win an IORK title here? Not here.
Here at Ace, no, but down in Nelson, we have had, I think, 3 second places last year. We had a 3rd place, and then we also had a 2nd in the Bathurst race, and also a 3rd when I joined with the team in Nelson.
And of course, so you've had a few bridesmaids.
And of course, the winner here will be the first of our class winners for IORK 2025. So this winner here will get to claim the first winner of the year and be crowned winner of his category.
But we're jumping the gun a wee bit because there's still 18 minutes, 20 seconds still to go. And for our race leader, Ryan Grove.
And there's plenty to play for here. Ryan, Kerry, Dan, Andrew, all in a big tight fight. So that top 4, any one of them could we even see a shocker? Someone from the top 5 or bottom 6 get their way into this.
Well, I think Dan Kennelly's just about done all his pit stops. I think he may have one more still to go.
Yeah, again, we don't have a system that tracks that, so something we can look into for next year to try and figure out who's done what pit stops. But and this year, Lance has come in and done another pit, so... Oh no, Lance thought he had one more pit stop to go, and he said, well, he got a signal from his team telling him he had one more pit stop to go, and Lance was confident he'd done 4, pulls in after Marshall.
Oh, he got a drive-through, did Lance. Oh no. Some days, you know, it's... He was always lunchtime and it's a crap sandwich.
He was warned about in his last pit stop that if he went red that he'd get a drive-through again, receives that red, and that's going to hurt him dramatically.
Oh, poor Lance. He's moved back into place and he's not even on our leaderboard. He's way back in 13th place at the moment.
And again, the track marshal's doing a good job of fixing those tyre barriers, making sure the track limits is fair in this final. We want to make sure that the winner of this race is a fair winner and someone who's showing that they are the best driver in this group. Who will that be, though?
Well, just look at the fastest lap times out there. 28.64 for Dan Kennelly. I don't think anyone else is better than that time.
Yeah, Dan's moving right now. He's absolutely flying, and he's trying to get back up into that first place position. If Dan can get into that first, with the amount of pit stops he's done, I don't think anyone will be able to get him out of it.
Well, we've still got 16 minutes to go, and he's still in the fight, only 14 seconds behind Ryan Grant.
Yeah, look, time's definitely important. There's lots of time left in the session, but once you've got your pit stops done, if you can get into first place, it's very, very unlikely that you're going to lose that race, and you can start to build a nice buffer, and from that point onwards you can control the race. We've seen once the drivers get their pit stops done, get to that first, it's pretty easy to hold for the rest of the race.
Yes, we got players taking a photo while he still can. With Ryan Grant out front, the Wellingtonian showing us all how it's done at the moment.
Yeah, I bet players like me right now when I watch F1 and I see Liam on P1, I go, stop the clock.
Dan Kennelly trying to cut that lead back.
There's more watching his racing and envy with a bit of jealousy coming from my part, because this was one of my classes that I was meant to be entering, so very jealous of him sitting at the front right now.
And of course, are you going to be entering into next year's IORK?
Yeah, we'll see what happens next year. We'll see what the future brings, I guess you could say.
Well, 15 minutes still to run, and Ryan Graham is the man to beat at the moment. He's done 50 laps, but also on 50 laps we have Kerry Jansen, Dan Kennelly, and 2 laps behind them is Shamil, and behind them is Abdul Rikab. Yes.
Andrew Barber in the top 6 as well, so we saw Andrew Barber at one point fighting for the lead with Dan Kennelly, falling back to the top 6.
Oh, Andrew Barber slipped back to 6th place, so is
And obviously with such a long session, it's good
Okay,
for
a
commentary
problem
to-
there for kart number 8. He's signalling to the marshal, that's Darren Mudford, sitting in 8th position overall. Best lap of 29.8 for Darren.
You know, Ryan Groen out in that lead. Probably just a case of him needing to do some pit stops. Kerry Jansen and then second, 5 seconds behind Ryan Groen. So those two are having a very close battle. If you look at their lap times, we're doing 29.3 for Ryan and a 29.2 for Kerry. So Kerry's knocking off a little bit, inch by inch, off of Ryan's lead, but those two are very, very close. And then almost a lap down currently, Dan Canelli, but I think once the pit stops play effect, Dan's probably going to be the one that's in the lead of that one. Andrew Barber now up to up to 4th, just behind Dan Canelli. So that battle between Andrew and Dan sort of evening it back out and being a good fight between Dan and Andrew, and see how that rolls out in the last few laps, because we've only got 13 minutes to go. 3 more minutes left of these drivers being allowed to pit stop and get water and communicate with people, because once that clock hits 10 minutes to go, there is no more. You can still pit, but you can't. And we've got a slow going on. Might have been a temporary yellow, just a short one while they fix some tyre barriers. The tyre walls obviously need readjusting every so often. When the drivers push the tyre walls out here, because the track is a temporary track, so if you didn't know, the Ace track during big events here at Mount Smart Stadium gets packed up and turned into a car park for extra parking, and then we have to build it back up. So the track is kind of temporary in a sense, so some of these walls can get very easily nudged and moved by these drivers, and then it can cause the track to be unsafe. So the masters have to come through, really fix the track and get into a safe zone. Sometimes that causes yellows, but it's there for everyone's safety. It's just the nature of this track.
Yep, and it also defines the corners too. Because if there was no tyre barriers, you wouldn't know where the corners started or finished.
And track limits as well. Much easier to make a track limits infringement not knowing where the track limits is, versus when the tyre barriers there, you know not to touch the tyres.
Yeah, absolutely. Raj just going around the front straight now, followed by Andrew Barber, but currently Andrew Barber's sitting out of position. They're just going to pass back over to Sid.
Okay, our race leader, Ryan Groen, 35 years of age. He's the male from Wellington. He's into property, and he's twice raced at IORK previously. And he's been in the finals for the 70s to 85 kgs previously as well.
And Kerry Jansen just coming in for a pit with a minute left on the clock, getting a nice drinks refresh break, basically the last minute. So with only a minute left on the clock for him to be allowed to do that, he's come in and got a fresh drink, and Kerry Jansen's completed another pit.
Well, Kerry Jansen, he's just about the oldest competitor here. He's 63 years of age, and believe it or not, he's actually older than me. And he's from Auckland. From Parnell. Ryan's only got 1 minute left to pit. If he hasn't done all his pits. Oh, could be curtains for Ryan Groen.
Obviously, the old tyre barriers moved quite dramatically down on the back straight. The final corner, I think that's turn 6. The tyre barriers moved quite a lot, so drivers moving that a little bit there. Marshall's might need to deal with that, and we've got 4 wide coming into the first corner, so that's a really great battle that's going on there right now.
I'll tell you what, if Ryan Groen comes into the pits, that'll hand the advantage to Dan Canelli just about.
Yeah, with 30 seconds behind. 30 seconds left on the clock, and then they won't be allowed to pit with a green spray.
Okay, you will pick up your race leader. It is still Ryan Groen with 11.1 second lead. Back to former champion Dan Canelli. And yet another former champion, Andrew Barber, sits there in 3rd place ahead of Kerry Jansen, the 63-year-old, doing a terrific performance out there. Outstanding.
And now 10 to go, so the drivers are no longer allowed to communicate. They're on their own for the last 10 minutes now. It's all up to them. They've just got to get into this final session and just drive as hard as they can. No more drinks, no more communication. The drivers are just them and the road. They're still allowed to pit though. In the last 10 minutes, they're still allowed to pit.
Well, Craig Buckley, he's been the mover and shaker in the last couple of laps. He's moved up to 4th place now, ahead of Kerry Jansen and Ryan Smythe.
Yeah, and again, just a reminder of how long the session is. 45 minutes, I mean, but it's a very long session.
And there's Dan Canelli. This must be his last.
That's going to be his last one. That's Dan's last pit stop, and he's coming in the last 10 minutes, so good job from Dan. He's in a strong position. He's currently sitting second to Ryan Groen, and now with Ryan having to do one more pit stop after this, Dan's got a good shot, but Andrew Barber is probably going to pass him now.
Yeah, Dan Canelli, it looks like he may retain that second place behind Ryan Groen still, but the gap will be bigger. So Ryan Groen, your race leader in kart number 4, followed by Dan Canelli in kart number 12. Andrew Barker still there in third. Barber, sorry, still there in third in kart number 7. Oh, it looks like kart number 4, that's Ryan Groen. He's just doing his last pit stop. And looking where Dan Canelli is.
Yeah, this is going to shake up the lead now. Ryan, I think he still has an opportunity here to win this race, but he's going to have to put a move on. He's got a 39-second lead over Dan currently. We'll see as that refreshes, because Dan's just about to come around the corner and see if he comes out in front. Ryan's just merging back into the pack and falling behind Lance, falling behind a few other drivers, so Ryan's got a little bit of work there to do.
Yes, and so is Dan. Look at that, right around the outside of Nick Holt. He'll have another stab going through to... Oh, he just got shuffled back there.
Yeah.
He's gutted about that.
It's a small gap, only about 14 seconds between Ryan and Dan. Ryan's coming back in again to do his pit, and so this means with Ryan doing his pit and Dan only being about 14 seconds behind, and Dan's probably going to take the lead over Ryan here.
Oh, this is going to be close. Seven seconds.
I think that's Ryan's only chance of winning there is just gone now, because Dan's already completed his race and now just already in the lead. So every second that Dan gains on Ryan while he's in the pit stop right now, that's just time that Dan's got as a buffer between him and Ryan. So I think Ryan's now in a fight for second place.
So Canelli takes over the lead. It's Christchurch, it's Wellington, and it's Tauranga. Where's the first Aucklander in the field there, Ash?
Unfortunately, my Auckland knowledge on these guys is not as strong. Not seeing any names that I recognise, but yeah, there's definitely some Aucklanders in this field as far as I'm aware.
Okay, so your race leader is Dan Canelli from Ryan Groen in second, Andrew Barber in third, Kerry Jansen, who's done an outstanding job, the 63-year-old, sits there in fourth place overall, from Craig Buckley in fifth, Ryan Smythe sixth, then go back to Chanel, ahead of Lance Somerville, and then we look at back in ninth, we've got Malcolm Mahoney, ahead of Hamish Cleland, rounds out the top 10.
Yeah, and there's still a few drivers who haven't pitted yet, but Dan's done a really good job, Ryan's done a really good job, and they're both in their own little race, but Dan's, I think, got a clear commanding lead of this race. I think this is Dan's to lose with only 6 minutes left on the clock. An 18-second gap, that's going to be hard to overcome, right? What's the likelihood of Dan losing 18 seconds in the next 6 minutes?
Oh, I'd say highly unlikely at the rate that he's driving at the moment. But as it showed all weekend, anything's possible. All it takes is someone to spin out in front of him, and it could bring the pack all back in.
But Dan is clearly in his element. I mean, he's been threatening to do this all weekend long. He's looked like a very, very fast driver. In this 45 minutes where he's really able to stretch his legs, he's really stretched his legs, and it's now sitting at 19.5 seconds, so he's increasing it.
And of course, Ash, you just got to look at the front three. We've seen a strong contingent from Christchurch. We've seen a strong contingent from Wellington, and we've also seen a strong contingent of drivers from Tauranga.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be ruling out Kerry Jansen making a comeback for that podium. I think Andrew Barber's got one to be sweating on, because Kerry Jansen's right up close to him, and I believe Andrew might still have one more pit stop to go, so it's still going to switch around, and we're seeing it switch around, because Ryan Groen's just fallen back and Andrew Barber's surpassed him. There was no pit stop there, so I think Andrew Barber just got ahead of Ryan Groen. That was a position swap on the track.
Well, those two must still be close together if he's only just passed them, so we'll try and catch them on the track. Because there they go, just coming onto the front straight by the looks of it. And it's only a couple of car lengths in it.
5 to go, and still some people who do their pit stops even in the final 5 minutes with such a long pit stop. Leaving it so last minute feels like a mistake. Do these drivers potentially not know that they have pit stops to go?
Oh, look at that lead that Dan Canelli has. I think it was 21 seconds, I think it flashed over the screen. just a second to go for Dan Kennelly.
Yeah, Dan's fastest lap time so far in the race is a 28.6, and Andrew Barber behind him has actually gone a little bit faster with a 28.4. So Andrew's got some pace there, but not showing it consistently enough, because Dan has increased his lead again to 20 seconds from 19, from 18 when after he pit. So Dan's just bolting off.
Well, it did actually go up to 21 seconds. Now it's come back to 20.
So toing and throwing between them, but I don't think it's changing enough to give Andrew Barber a shot at this win.
No, Dan could just about come into the pits, have a cup of tea, and still win the race.
And considering that Andrew Barber, we know, has also done his pit stops, I would be worried if I was Ryan Groen, because it looks like he's about to miss out on a podium chance, because Gary Ganson's completed all of his pit stops.
And there goes Dan Kennelly just around one of the back markers once again. Looks a bit like Craig Buckley. Sitting there in 5th place.
Yeah, Dan's usually got quite a unique yellow helmet, but with the ace helmets also having a bit of yellow, it's getting a bit confusing as to whether it's Dan or...
And there we go. I think that was Shamil just coming into the pits. Sitting in 7th place. He's had a very good drive.
Oh, we've got a massive spin and out of turn 5. So the turn 5 wall's been moved. This might end up being, this is a yellow, yellow, yellow. So yellow's come out. Turn 5 needs to be fixed, and the driver's just been pulled out of that. I didn't get him a chance to see which driver went into the wall, but they could seriously hurt their race. 45 minutes of hard work and all thrown away, just a couple of seconds in the wall.
I'll tell you what, there's just over 2.5 minutes to go.
So Hamish has a pit to go, and so does Ryan. So, sorry, so not Ryan.
Andrew Barber has a pit to go, and he's sitting there in 2nd place. He'll be sweating his knuckles.
Yeah, with only 2 minutes and 30 seconds left to go. I don't even know if these drivers know they have pits left off. With so many more pits to do than in your heat race, probably the drivers are a little bit confused as to how many they've done.
So this could really advantage the likes of Ryan Groen now.
Well, we know if you don't complete your penalties, a time gets added on at the end, so you'll lose positions quite dramatically if you haven't pitted by the end of this race.
And here comes one driver coming into the pits to get the number. Or no, he's not. He's just got his arm up.
It seems like the DeHart's still on from the yellow flag that he had earlier. The yellows are out, so there's still DeHart going on right now, and that means that the cars aren't moving. But now the DeHart's off, the green light's back on, and he should have full power.
Okay.
A few of these drivers are getting caught out with the DeHart, which wasn't used as much yesterday, getting used a little bit more frequently today to keep things a bit safe. And a few drivers getting confused, thinking their cart's losing power, but it's every cart that's losing power because of the DeHart.
Okay, so Dan Kennelly, it's his race to lose at this stage. He's got a 17-second lead. That gap has come down, but of course Dan doesn't need to push too hard. He's just got to consolidate that lead over Andrew Barber and Ryan Groen. But I believe Andrew Barber possibly has to have another pit stop.
Yeah, don't want to get too much information away from the marshals, but yeah, there's still a few drivers left to go for their pits. There was a long pit stop there for car 8, so car 8 had a very late pit stop, not even in the top 11, so yeah, out of the points for him.
So just having a look at the gap between 2nd and 3rd at the stage. Dan Kennelly's got a comfortable lead. He's done 78 laps so far with 36 seconds on the clock. And the gap between 2nd and 3rd, once they come around, 17.4 seconds between Dan Kennelly and Andrew Barber. Back there in 3rd place is another 7 seconds Ryan Groen behind Andrew Barber.
And Dan Kennelly, the man who's been doing double duty, he's been commentating, he's been helping out with the track marshalling, he's been threatening to do this all weekend, he's been showing incredible speed. Dan Kennelly coming after the last lap because he is about to win. He won once, he then lost to Andrew Barber. He came into the 2nd race and Andrew Barber said, I'm going to win. Then he comes into this race and Andrew Barber, he held him off. Dan Kennelly is going to be your race winner.
Oh, you beauty, here he comes on turn 8. He's ecstatic.
He's shaking Kennelly as well. Dan Kennelly celebrating like a madman because he has done it. He is now the winner of the 100 kg IORK 2025.
He is the GOAT, a 2-time winner of IORK.
What a race. What a gap between him and Dan Kennelly. I mean, he got his pits perfect. He then pitted at the right times. He set fast laps. He didn't let anyone get in his way, and he just drove a fantastic victory with one hell of a gap.
I'll tell you what, he is the goat. He'd rather be a goat than a duck. I'll tell you, Dan Kennelly, congratulations. Provisionally we have Barber in second place.
Yeah, but there might be some pit stops that need to factor into that. Also, we should mention that these race results are provisional because the drivers the top 5 have to weigh with their helmets after the race. If they don't meet the minimum weight, they're out. Disqualified. So still
Andrew
provisional
Barber,
results.
will he retain that second position in kart number 7? And Ryan Groen, provisionally third.
But Dan Kennelly, he can be excited. He's going to get to do his victory lap. So in comes Dan Kennelly, grabs the flag, and Dan Kennelly will get to do a victory lap here.
Dan Kennelly, of course, races out of Supercarts Indoor Raceway in Christchurch. And of course, he was the original organiser, I believe, of the Fastest of the Fast competition, which was held at Supercarts Indoor Raceway.
And if anyone is the crowd, as Dan Kennelly comes around for his victory lap, give a hand and a round of applause to Dan Kennelly, your race winner for the 100 kg category.
Okay, we're going to try and get a talk to Dan after he does his victory lap. He's ecstatic. Look at that. Give it up for Dan Kennelly.
Congratulations, Dan Kennelly, your race winner.
So if Dan could come to the commentary booth, please.
I think he was
happy as well.
Yeah, I think Dan Kennelly's come to the race. His hands are on his helmet. He's shaking his head. He can't believe it. He's done it again. Dan Kennelly has won one more time. He said, "I am the greatest of all time." Look at that. He's in shock and disbelief. The emotion, the relief, the thrill.
Just look at his visor. It's fogging up.
He's breathing heavily. I think the man is ecstatic. We want to hear that adrenaline. Dan, come over here. Dan. Come on, Dan, come over here. Tell us how you're feeling. P1, baby, P1, Dan Kennelly. Holy hell, if at any time in your life you don't believe you're worth anything, come try go-karting because it changes your life for the better. This is unreal, absolutely surreal feeling. I got to thank my competitors. I mean, I wouldn't be out there, without them. And IORK and the Christchurch crew, the loudest crew in the fucking country. Sorry for my swearing, but this is, so much emotion. This is unreal. I'll take a minute to 7. Thank you. Congratulations, Dan. Congratulations on that win.
Oh, well done, mate. That's one down for the Christchurch drivers. 2-time. How's it feel to be a 2-time IORK title? You are the GOAT. At least you're not a duck.
It feels incredible right now. So the whole body's tingling. I mean, the adrenaline's still running through. So, just come back to me.
Awesome stuff. Give it up for our race winner and our champion, the second time over, Dan Kennelly. Okay, we'll get those positions for you as soon as things are official. Okay, don't forget, folks, the sim races over there on the southern side of the circuit there. $15 for 20 minutes. Book at the office. Of course, don't forget also our major sponsors here at IORK for 2025. Racefacer, Racing Software, and Rental Carts New Zealand, Rental Cart Supply. Also, to the merchandise tent, we've got hoodies there for $67.50, t-shirts for $42, and hats for $40. Okay, we move now on to Heat 6 of the 69s and under. This, of course, is a rerun from yesterday. So heat number 6, so those drivers will be looking to add to their points tally so they can get further up in the final. Okay, we've got the provisional results for the last race. And in first place, no surprises there from Christchurch. Your two-time IORK champion, it is Dan Canali. In second place, provisionally, Andrew Barber from Tauranga. Third place was from Wellington, Ryan Graham. The fastest lap was set by Andrew Barber in second place at 28.4. But back in fourth place, a good drive for the 63-year-old Kerry Jansen.
Yeah, of course, and the marshals are just trying to officiate that race to confirm that that is the official race result ending lead, but for now that's where we're at. And now we're moving on into the next race, which is a rerun right from earlier yesterday. We had a little bit of an incident in yesterday's race for the under 69s, and so now this is a second run of that race.
Yes. Okay, looks like the grid positions now. On grid 1 is kart number 12, that is Toby Weymouth. In grid 2 is kart 20, Ding Zhou. Grid 3 is kart number 17, Bianca Dippenar in grid 4. It looks like we're racing already. So we'll see how it all pans out, but your race leader at the moment should be Toby Weymouth, and he's gapped the field. He's gapped the field, Ash.
Yeah, he certainly walked away. He's got a good start from that one and got a decent lead. Could have easily thrown that one away, so good job from him.
So he's definitely got a good lead of around about 10 car lengths. So we're looking at a pit stop here for one of the favourites. That's Charlie Weymouth, I think it is. No, Charlie Keyworth. Charlie Keyworth does his pit stop, drops to the back of the field. But it's Toby Weymouth, your race leader from Bianca Dippenar in second place. And she falls back as she does her pit stop. So the lead's all changing round. In fact, Bianca is still out there. She's in front in cart number 17, ahead of Toby Weymouth in cart number 12. Then go back to Noah Hoy in third position. Then Emma Roberts from Christchurch in cart number 10. Jalen Carley. Now, if Emma beats Jalen in the final, he's going to get his head shaved, so he's going to lose all those locks. And Craig Crowder from Nelson sits there in 7th position ahead of Christchurch's Adrian Lang, the former champion. So Bianca just running away with it at this stage. Well, not quite. 0.1 of a second just ahead of Toby Weymouth. And Charlie Keyworth, who's probably the favourite in this one, sits there in 3rd place ahead of Noah Hoy. Ding Zoe sits there in 5th position ahead of Emma Roberts in 6th. Then we move back to, look, things have changed again. Jared Wilson coming through into the pits in cart number 11.
Yeah, and obviously because this is a rerun of a heat race, it's quite a short race, only 8 minutes on the clock for this one. So 5 minutes to go, very short pit stops. From the intensity that was that final race, switching back to this heat, it's quite an intense one.
And of course, I believe this is the final race before we go into a big break for our final session this afternoon at 4:30.
Yeah, looking forward to that break personally. A bit of an intense one, so good
we said we'll probably get down to the 27s. The only other driver we've seen in the 27s today has been Mandela Pluck. Well, we've got a couple of youngsters in the 27s, Bianca Dippenar and also Toby Weymouth. 27.8 for Bianca and 27.9 for Toby, but Charlie Keyworth has just also done a 27.93 and not to be outdone with his locks. He's still with his locks on is Jalen Carley with a 27.95.
Yeah, and again we're seeing a very intense heat race. It's fast and it's moving around. A lot of drivers coming in too fast into the pit lane, so they need to be reminded to cool down and not come in too fast, or else they're going to get penalties. It's dangerous for the start.
And that looked like Bianca doing another pit stop.
Yeah, there's 2 stops in these heat races, each lasting about 3 seconds.
Or might have been one of the other lady drivers, sorry, because Bianca is still out front and doing a stellar job out front ahead of Charlie Keyworth and Toby Weymouth. So Bianca, still your race leader, ahead of Charlie Keyworth, Toby Weymouth. Ding Zoe sits there in 4th position ahead of Jalen Carley. Then back to Noah Hoy, back in 6th.
Yeah, and there's a failure on the lights, so a lot of drivers are thinking they're allowed to go. So, great job from the marshals doing the best they can in this moment. Very stressful, but the light situation is causing a little bit of trouble for the drivers to understand when they're allowed to go and when they're not. pit situation's a bit chaotic right now, but the Marshals are doing a fantastic job of getting it sorted as quickly as they can in this race. Bianca, followed by Charlie Keyworth. You've got to say Charlie's a strong favourite in this race. I mean, Bianca's doing a fantastic job. She's a very fast girl, but oh, we've got a yellow on the yellow on the track, so it looks like the tyres have been moved around, so just giving the opportunity for the Marshals to fix the track. Again, fantastic job the Marshals are doing here this weekend.
Oh yes, without the Marshals we could not run an event like this. And of course Emma Roberts has just done a pit stop, the Christchurch lady, a former champion at IORK for the ladies division, back there in 8th position. One driver we've seen very quick in this class previous to this heat, Levi Cabell, sits way back in 11th. We'll see if he can make it up through the field.
Yeah, Jaden now coming into the pit, so good opportunity. Marshall's doing a fantastic job, so everyone knows that they can go now. Good work from them.
Look at Charlie Keyworth. Looks like he might be right on the back of Bianca there.
Yeah, Charlie. But look at Bianca. I mean, she's not been this fast all weekend. All of a sudden, she's rocked up doing 27.8. Yeah, faster than Charlie. Bianca has done multiple heats against Charlie, and now all of a sudden is just really, really strong for Bianca.
Oh, she's got the bit between her teeth, or she's got something between her teeth.
Well, she's dropped back down to second because Toby Weymouth's now surpassed her, but yeah, doing a fantastic job from Bianca. A podium is definitely within shot because only 1:30 left on the clock.
Oh, Toby Weymouth now your race leader, so Toby, he's hit the front. Could be good night nurse for Bianca. Look at that time from Toby at 27.79. And now down to 27.6. That's the fastest time we've seen today.
Yeah, really, really fast times coming through. The temperature's getting a little bit colder and the air temperature's coming down. So, yeah, that's going to cause faster lap times. Only a minute left in the session, thankfully, and then it's going to be all done for this heat for the under 69s moving into the finals.
Having a look at those sort of lap times, who knows? Maybe that lap record could go this evening.
I very much expect it to.
Oh, a 27.6 that last time around. Oh, look at this. Look at that lap time consistency. 27.64 for Toby Weymouth. His best is a 27.62. And 30 seconds to go on the clock. So it's just about done and dusted, this one. Toby Weymouth, it's his race to lose. In fact, I think the checkered flag has come out. It has. So Toby Weymouth, you are the winner. Give it up for Toby Weymouth. Jalen Carley back there in second place ahead of Bianca. I'm not too sure whether that's correct. And Charlie Keyworth. Charlie's been a real star. Could only manage fourth this time out.
Yeah, Bianca's done a fantastic job of getting in the podium into that third for that heat. So great job from Bianca.
And back there in fifth was Ding Zoe ahead of Noah Hoy. Good drive, another good drive from Emma Roberts. Of course, she'll be after those locks of Jalen's. But Jalen did finish in second place. Jalen Carley. Good lap time there for Jalen, a 27.7. Just eclipsed though from Toby Weymouth, a 27.627. And Bianca sits there in third position. Charlie Keyworth with a 27.86 in fourth. Then we go back to Ding Zoe, Noah Hoy. Right, that was an outstanding race. Maybe we can have Toby Weymouth to the commentary booth. If Toby could come to the commentary booth. Well, it's not the first time we've had you up here, Toby, but you'll be ecstatic about that, and that's going to do you well for the final. You've just got the one final, haven't you? So you'll be looking forward to that, and that should advance you up the field.
Yeah, hopefully.
And how's the track conditions out there?
It doesn't rain, but yeah, we're very good grippy at the moment.
Well, it's Auckland, mate, and we're bound to have some rain at some stage or other. How are you going to cope with that?
Hopefully not too bad. I did pretty good in the first rainy race on Thursday. I won that one, so I was pretty pleased with that.
Oh, well, some awesome driving. Good luck, and all the best for the final.
Thank you.
Cheers. Well, that just about wraps up the racing here for the final session before the other big finals later on this evening at 4:30 p.m. And you got to say that we've had our first final, and Dan Kennelly from Christchurch, Andrew Barber, and Ryan Groen, a very deserved podium, you have to say, Ash.
Yeah, they did a good job, and we'll see you into the next session. Thankfully, there's a nice summer break, nice lunch break on, so we'll take advantage of that, and we'll see you guys back in a little bit. And just a little update. We found out that in the last position, what we were commentating on was actually the system was set to best lap time, not actually race position. So what we called there in Tony Weymouth's win was unfortunately just actually he was doing the fastest lap. So they're going to change the session around, find out who actually did the most amount of laps and actually was the race winner of that race. But yeah, we were commentating on the fastest lap. That's why it wasn't changing around too much.